Tugboat Typhoon the Shark.
President of the United States to get this country moving again, to set before the American people its goals, its unfinished business.
Man. You know you're the third person who's given me this today.
Getting to hear Zeppelin for the first time.
Jason London is the top vote getter.
The longest running champion.
Not going to see any firemen carry takeovers here. Hello.
Missed the home run because of the throw-up. So,
and I've seen a bunch of them, but that's the best one.
John Layfield will move on to round two.
How do you like them apples?
40,000 players have stepped up.
You don't have 3 times that number of stars, players.
Pete Babcock has moved on to round number 2.
Gets away from Goldberg.
Even if I argued them, they would be 50-50.
Officially in round number 2 is Marcus Buff Bagwell.
back over to Barry.
26 big ones.
Series at that time, and they didn't even do it for all of the game.
It's a conversation about SMU's fall from grace.
On the bar, making it easy.
The Gulf of Tonkin did not happen. For all intents and purposes, any historian will tell you that's what started the war. It would never happen. We were coming off McCarthyism. We were coming off the Red Scare.
And the human life on both sides. It was not respected on both sides. Every athlete, they would love this show. How do we get all of the academics, the athletes to watch? There is nothing that was on TV tonight that even remotely rivals what we did on this broadcast.
Blair, having something behind it.
There's 2 guys standing there and zip.
As long as there's expertise.
Brian Blair advances to round number 2.
Talk a little bit to me, Steamboat. When age had finally crept up on him, they sent him out to Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Future science officer for the Enterprise.
Fred Ottman have moved on to round number 2 officially.
I'm gonna have a few words with him.
It is so good to see you.
I don't want to be a role model, but if I have to be, okay.
Professional soccer teams across America are world class now.
Steven Tobolowsky barely ekes out a win against Todd Bridges.
That's for sure. Tater.
I remember they had one guy who made it, and his name was Herb Moak.
But it wasn't a million newspapers.
Eddie Johnson and Jumping Jim Brunzell have moved on and advanced to round 2.
Never trust a big butt when it smiles. That's right.
You're the ones we saw in front of the castle.
I am Ted of San Dimas.
I don't understand what Wichita has to do with a snowstorm in Chicago.
A woman who played my mother in Amityville Part 2 was also Latin.
She's coming hard with that boy.
Tommy Davidson is officially in the second round of the Grand Debate Tournament. Diane Franklin has also moved on.
Dignified is the word often associated with Lenny.
And it was me that called your number and you walked away.
They can live in peace, and he's going to move on. So therefore, I think this speech is so impactful.
Mr. Allen defeats Mr. Lenny Wilkins.
Stay here while I go talk to him.
My daughter is too good for you.
Popular vote
for judges is just going to get out of control.
Jeremy London has a rebuttal.
My voice should be heard.
Jeremy London has moved on to round number 2.
Because the way you're looking at me, we must be old friends.
That's terrific.
She was a politician. She was a journalist.
I just love this, but inwardly you could have a different feeling.
This D. Wallace moves on to round number 2. Eric Dickerson also moves on to round number 2.
Bruce Wayne. Alexander Knox.
Look at her.
I told all of my girlfriends that my middle name was Kashmir.
William Wyler, the very first recipient of the AFI Life Achievement Award.
So Robert Wall advances to round number 2.
I never understood, but
To come back because of the world situation.
Bruce Davison and Mark Met is Jesse Ventura, who also moves to round number 2.
Gotta keep my cool. I'm not the fool. Brian Knobs grabs a chair, slams it across.
Beginning of Sounds of Silence just hits me on such a gut level.
Throwing Donnie's ashes and they blow back in his face.
he learned back in the day from Muddy Waters.
Tanya said she voted for Peter. Okay, I appreciate that. With 34 points, Jerry Sags will move on officially to round number 2. Brian Knobs moves on to round number 2.
You were 34.
Gosh.
I guarantee I'll kill anybody who does.
John Wayne said, I don't give jobs, I hire men.
And how you can manipulate people's minds.
Things inside you matured and tears come to your eyes.
Mr. Joe Montana, guys, will be in round number 2. And Mr. Jim Duggan will also be back in round number 2.
For refreshments. Dip doesn't grow on trees, you know.
That could inhabit the body of the doll.
This is the world's greatest film ever, yeah.
The way it sets up the anticipation.
Just the complete loss of everything when we pass.
So Tretch, Don Most, and Tom Holland will all be moving to round number 2.
Morrison may be going. Morrison is gone. Sir Haywood. He is fouled by Hudson.
You know me, Gene. These are titanium steel.
Playing today for all of the retired players.
One guy was about to come over the rail.
He went overseas, they sent him overseas to free hostage.
29 votes. Moving on to round number 2 is Mr. Spencer Haywood. Mr. Brutus Beefcake will also move on to...
We take it one step at a time.
Yeah, I'm trying to win this entire thing.
Well, just like in sports, I'm sure Jim would say the same thing. You don't play for individual awards.
Well, yeah, I'd love to be able to say I beat all these guys in the debate.
It's about the pride and the pride.
Prize is pretty darn good too.
It's the pride. It's always about the pride.
I've come here to chew gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubble gum, brother.
At the end of the day, it really is about winning.
Yeah, heck yeah, I'm here to win it. It's in my DNA.
And I'm waiting to kick. Tonight.
Absolutely, 100%. I'm here to do my best.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, you know, everybody has some pride.
Victory has 1,000 fathers, but defeat is an orphan. I plan on winning tonight.
She's in here doing mental push-ups.
You know, winning is really important. But you know what's even greater is inspiring. And bro, that's what you do with this show.
Well, you're in it to win it, or why be in it at all, right?
I'm about winning.
I think I'd be more interested in the prize.
It's about the prize.
Bobby, I am here to go for the gusto.
Why not? Why are you keeping score if you don't want to win it? You know?
Though I'm not super competitive, I would like to win. We all want to win, right?
I'm here to win.
You know, I'll do the best I can and leave it up to the voters.
Of course, I'd love to win.
I'm always in it to win it, Avi.
I'm definitely in it to win it.
I've already won because I'm sure I'm going to be enlightened by our other guests.
I hate losing. I want to go to Greece.
It's about the pride. You don't want to come in second. You want to be first.
Do you concur with Mark? Are you here to win the whole thing?
Oh, sure. Why not?
Well, of course I am. I don't do nothing to lose.
Yes, I do. Of course I do. I want to go to Greece.
Oh, are you kidding me? I wouldn't be on here if I wasn't going to win something.
Yes, I'm going to win it all, man.
Winning it all, baby. To save the children, send some kids to Greece.
Here to win the whole thing.
So definitely.
If I'm lucky enough to win, I'll turn it back into the pool.
The money? Absolutely. I'm going for it. Oh.
Nothing better than the top.
Well, I'm going to give it 110%. That's Hacksaw Jim Duggan,
Oh, yeah, for sure, yo. We don't go out with no losing mentality, man.
So I'm here to win. Yeah!
Yes, I'm here to win the whole thing, man. I don't get in the ring for losing, man. I'm like in the ring right now.
Use that to kind of opportunity to do those similar things.
I don't play. I just win.
You and me, have some fun.
It's the sister of Mary Hartman. I can't think of the character's name.
Kathy Shumway, maybe?
Yeah, she was Kathy Shumway. Very
Shumway.
good. That's very impressive. You got a good workshop you're doing.
Sure
If this is what's going on in your workshop. Sweep the leg.
But you're sheer 9 or 10. You're probably 9.5.
Oh.
10 is no one's perfect. But honest to God, you're terrific. You do your homework, and I've done everybody. I've done in the '80s. I did Johnny Carson. I did Merv Griffin. I did it all. And you're very energetic and good. And you asked the right question.
Last name Reed. Welcome to the celebrity tournament, my friend.
Thank you, Avi. I agree with all your previous guests. You give good intro.
If I see any smirking, this class is over.
Another trio of questions. Now more underrated. We have Billy D. Williams, Italian men named Skippy or unicycles.
I'm sorry, Italian men named Skippy. Put me away, Avi. That's yeah.
They sold the merchandise and merch.
They put their own sequels in the movie ahead
of time.
You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
3, we need to abolish the political parties.
Last name Ventura. First name Jesse.
I'll tell you this, Avi, you definitely do your homework. Hey, like I said, the good thing about you do your frickin' homework. You're extremely prepared, much more prepared than most interviewers that I get.
Hey, you want to pat this down too? Oh, where'd you get that book from?
Yeah, there we go.
Beautiful, but baby. I tell you what, you did your homework.
Did you have fun here on the green room?
Anytime you want me back, I'm here, brother.
Look it up. Cam. Why not?
Ain't got no dictionary.
John Amos.
Man, what an introduction. I hope I can live up to that. God bless you. I'm prepared to take on this challenge of this wonderful monologue that you've written, and I couldn't think of anything I'd rather do after I read it again for maybe the 3rd or 4th time. I wish that I'd had the time to commit it to memory because it deserves that. Giving me your thoughts and your input, because as I told you, that piece that you sent me is, I love good writing.
Last name Darso, first name Barry.
Holy cow, what an intro that was. I couldn't have said it better than myself. Unbelievable. Thank you.
Bill, welcome to the Celebrity Grand Debate Tournament, my friend.
Thank you, my friend. What an introduction. I'll tell you, it's amazing.
Ray Mercer, welcome to the Celebrity Tournament, my friend.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure being here, man. It's an honor.
Mr. Spencer Haywood, welcome.
Yeah. Thank you for that great introduction. I mean, what a great show. This is awesome.
I think that you've done a fabulous job, and I have not met an interviewer like you. Neither have I had some of these questions that really sort of went very deep into my heart.
Again, did you have a nice time?
I did. I enjoyed it immensely, and it really got me thinking, and I really got a chance to meet a couple fantastic guys.
Now, but my hats off to you. I could have stayed on for hours more. I love different topics. You letting us speak and just reaching other things we never ever spoke about.
Spencer, did you have a good time?
I had a great time. It was great. I mean, it's surprising, but it was great. And your intro for me was just awesome, but also the intro to the show was like, wow, you have all of these people. The only 2 people I want to beat right now is Rick Barry and Eddie Johnson. 2nd round, baby, I'm coming for you.
Really good discussion and the respect and you're at the center of it all and you really are terrific at this.
I've never done anything remotely like this, and
no one will ever ad-lib like you, okay? I'm serious. It is amazing, though, that everyone that comes on, they always say the same thing. How did you do that? How did you know all of that? That is just simply amazing.
That was one of the best introductions I've ever had in my entire life. It was better than my bar mitzvah.
Did you have that bad dream again? Did you find the technique itself helpful when it came to observing your scene partner staying present instead of strictly relying upon memory?
That's a great question, Avi.
Ralph Cramden, the yoga instructor, or Don Corleone, the computer repair person?
But I really enjoyed this, man. You're a smart guy and you ask really good questions. And
Ed Begley, welcome, my friend, to the green room again.
Thank you so much, Avi. Good to be back.
Last name Mantegna, first name Joe. Joe, welcome, my friend.
I think I have whiplash, Avi. Thank you very much.
Jim Duggan, welcome, my friend.
Well, thank you very much.
Don Most, welcome, my friend.
oh, thank you, Avi. What an introduction. That was very impressive.
The one and only Stretch.
Yo, that was dope.
I
You better than a lot of these rappers out there.
Tom Holland, welcome, my friend.
Avi, I stand in awe of your memory and your ability to rhyme, and it's just amazing.
What an incredible introduction, Avi. That is probably the best introduction I've probably ever had.
DiBiase, welcome to the TKN Celebrity Grand Debate Tournament, my friend.
Brother, I'm going to take you with me everywhere to get an introduction. That's the best introduction I've ever had in my life. Great. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. And it's so positive.
Mark, welcome to the TKN Celebrity Grand Tournament, my friend.
Think positive. Oh my gosh, Avi, man. I feel like I just ran a marathon listening to that, man.
Come on. Welcome to the TKN Celebrity Tournament, my friend.
Every day's a Friday and every night's a Saturday night in Nastyville. I am so happy to be on this show.
Christopher Martin, welcome, my friend.
Incredible. I hope you didn't mind it. I filmed that intro you just did for me because I'm going to play that on my low self-esteem days.
Jake Roberts, welcome to the TKN Celebrity Grand Tournament, my friend.
Wow, that was scary.
First name Brutus, last name Beefcake. Welcome, Brutus.
Ben, I love this. This is great. You got the intro down to a science, baby.
Peter Melman, welcome, my friend.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Bruce Davison, welcome to the tournament, my friend.
That was great, man. Where did you dig that all up? That's amazing.
Jesse Ventura, welcome to the TKN Celebrity Tournament, my friend.
Thank you, Avi. It's great to be here and great to be back interviewed by you. It's been far too long.
Never been out with a girl before.
You made me laugh too. It was great.
Yeah, I think Alf would be wisecracking while the alien would be tearing everybody up apart, I guess. Let's talk about some of the 80s horror classics. Last name Wilkins, first name Lenny. Lenny Wilkins, my friend, welcome.
Thank you, man.
And all of the actors and directors, different worlds come together. This is like a sanctuary for those people because we don't always get to talk about the things that really truly move us. I love this show because it makes me feel.
Everyone's been saying hang in, and now I know why.
Dolly Kirkland, welcome to the green room.
How did you do that thing where you were talking so fast?
I don't know.
I very few people can do what you did. Well, the acting teacher here, 35 years, commends you on your ability to do that. I'm very impressed.
Because I've done podcasts in the past, and so what have you done, and what are you going to be doing later? This is fantastic. I mean, this gets your juices going. You know, it gets you thinking.
Thank you.
Just we had fun. You know, it's fun and it is educational. So
I had a good time.
I did. Thank you, Avi. It was really, it was intellectually stimulating, and which is kind of a unique thing in this world of ours today.
I want to compliment you on giving me my best introduction I've ever had in my whole life. That's the first thing.
Thank you. Did you have fun tonight, my friend?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Looking for
being around people that are willing and open. I like that.
I did have a good time. It was a lot different than what I thought it was going to be, and I really enjoyed it.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate the opportunity. It was exhilarating. Like Barry, I didn't know what to expect. I enjoyed it. You bring in people from different walks of life. It's good to be able to see that you bring people together that, you know what, maybe one of the world's problems will get solved by listening to this show. And I want you to accept the accolades that you get from all of these brilliant people. They tell you that you're smart. They tell you that you're exposed. These are comments and compliments that you have to say, thank you very much, I accept.
My name is Sergeant Slaughter.
Wasn't sure what to expect. You're number one in my book as far as putting on a podcast, knowing what you know.
You know, I just think it was really good company, and you're terrific. And I've never done something like this before, so it was fun.
No, you know what? You're a very
really interesting person. With all this rhyming stuff, you must really put a lot of effort into this. I would love to read or see something that you've written because I'm sure it's really interesting.
Narrated in why? Sauerkraut, Henry Kissinger's deep soothing voice, or dogs wearing sweaters?
I like dogs wearing sweaters.
Your jack of all trades is teaching this craft as rewarding for you as performing in it.
I think sometimes it's more rewarding. Where did you do your research? I'm very impressed.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. You do a great job preparing.
A very simple formula. Everybody's a suspect.
I hope you're getting paid a lot. That was the greatest intro I think I've ever had. The amount of stuff that you talked to me about that I don't even remember about myself is so impressive that I'm highly impressed. I would give this a very high A.
Oh, I did. It was like a high school reunion.
Yeah, no, it's terrific and it's fun and keep bringing diverse personalities together. I think that's great. And it's also wonderful to hear people talk sanely to each other today.
Eric, how are you, my friend?
What's up, Vic? How you doing, man? I like that introduction. Golly, I didn't know that stuff about myself. This is, I think my top, because when you do the intro you gave me, I gotta give it to you. I like
You deserve it. Later on, you were able to get her cast on a series and she received her SAG card. Is that right?
Oh, I love you that you brought that up. I can't tell you how refreshing it is that somebody knows what they're doing.
What an honor to meet you. And
my
you're
pleasure.
great.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Courtney, did you have a lot of fun too as well?
Oh, yeah. I thank God I had, sports topic.
Did you guys have fun?
Oh, I had a blast. This is a great show.
What a blast.
I had a great time tonight. Did you keep rhyming, man? Entertaining. And like I said, it gave like a battle rap, spoken word.
Usually I'll do interviews and get asked the same questions about Stephen King. This was great to talk about things that matter, that go beyond projects.
Last name Johnson, first name Ed.
Wow! When I have a retirement party, even at my funeral, you better show up.
Papa Smurf has a hip hop on it.
Yo, yeah.
Avi, man, you're very talented. That's amazing.
Mr. Sizemore, first name Tom. How are you, my friend? I could turn the volume lower if you'd like next time. If you'd like me to do that, Tom, I could do that.
I don't know what I can do now.
Mr. Coogan, first name Keith.
Oh my God, what a great introduction. Fantastic. You do your research. Connected with me right there, and he knows my brand. He nailed it. I can't get, and now I know why. This is why your audiences love you. This is why you continue to great guests, and great guests beget great guests.
I was down to zero, still an unsung hero, waiting for my life till you drop.
Lunch was fabulous.
Funky chicken.
I'm excited.
How you feel, John?
Terrific.
It is Saturday night, all right, guys and gals, November the 25th, Thanksgiving. We're thankful for a lot of things, but tonight, if you're a fan of fiery, unbridled passion, then that intro says it all, as it can melt the South Pole. This place we call the Green Room was filled with edutainment and has plenty of heart and soul. It's time I listen to Stanislavski and take a beat as I process everything in real time. This is the 165th consecutive episode of the Green Room, a feeling that cannot be expressed through a mere rhyme. This craft, this art, this blank canvas that we fill with our souls are reminders that passion is eternal. This heart of mine on full display I provide unto you wholeheartedly. It guides me. It is as eternal as it is external. With a bevy of views on 53-plus pages week in and week out, innovation is our name and the sweat is the sweet. Dedication, labor, innovation only arrive when your effort is absolute, so put that in the tweet. And in this celebrity tournament that has captivated the masses, the field is one of a kind. Luminaries from all walks of life, gathering to compete for the pride and the prize. This is truly a sport of the mind. Sure, the numbers are fantastic on 53 pages, not including my own, but what's even sweeter is the sweat. By that, I mean good old-fashioned work ethic, wholehearted passion, effort, and consistency never lead to regret. The good bard, Mr. Shakespeare himself, said our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to. And those words ring oh so true. It means that you are the author of your story. Don't edit your vision due to others that secretly prefer to boo while attempting to obstruct your view. I dub what you see here on Saturday nights as competitive camaraderie, and I call it edutainment, where we educate and entertain. With $13,000, a trip for 2 to Greece, and becoming the first champion of this star-studded field, a lot is on the line. But your audience, the engine that makes this thing go, are the sweet nectar that we appreciate like fine old wine. So sit back and enjoy this month, as round number 1 isn't quite done. Thought-provoking topics that cover it all: history, sports, philosophy. But you know what we do? We always have fun. As strangers become friends, and we all come together, let's remember that we are closer than one might surmise. Limitless visions of innovative bliss experienced by an ensemble is the vision behind these eyes. Never hate the flower for starting out as a seed. Long distance running is essential. This isn't a stampede, so don't run anyone over on your way to the top. Focus on yourself and never forget to cheerlead. Root for your loved ones and lift people up. This Fortune Human Cookie hopes that we've all agreed that positivity is something we can never concede. So guys and gals, with that, let's bring in our celebrity judge right now who's in the back. And let's also remind you guys and gals of something I want to bring up, that Woodrow Wilson, guys and gals, is quoted as saying, the 28th U.S. president, if you want to make enemies, try to change something. What that means is innovation should not happen for the sake of innovation. Innovation happens when you want to do something that maybe isn't understood right away. That's called art, and that's also called what we do here. Because the persona is something we can celebrate. The accolades, the awards, the name, the claim, the fame, all of that is something we can definitely always celebrate when it comes to the celebrities. But I prefer to celebrate the celebrities for who they are, talking about the person beyond the persona. And through these topics, 147 of them, every week for a year, 3 people showing up here from all walks of life, 60 Hall of Famers from sports and wrestling, Oscar, Grammy, Emmy, Tony, Golden Globe winners and nominees all here, and we get to know them. Because, guys, you can have fun and educate without having to deal with controversy. We do conversation over controversy. And that's what makes this place live, by the way, what it is. So with that, guys and gals and pals, our celeb judge tonight is a man that can do it all and do it well. Whenever he speaks, we listen, because he always has a positive message and story to tell. Benjamin Franklin said, either write something worth reading or do something worth writing. He's an incredible writer and storyteller, and his energy is always inviting. He happens to be one of the competitors that is in round 2 of this star-studded field. We've all witnessed his talent, intellect, and vibe, something that cannot be concealed. He and I have a show on this network featuring 70-plus celebrities that stand for something great. Will he win this entire tournament? Will that be his fate? So be sure to call your pals, phone in, get ready to grin, and welcome in the talented and kind Jason London. Jason, welcome, my friend.
Hey, everybody.
It is good to see you, my friend. What a night we have. We don't know who's showing up here. Mystery celebs. Jason, you're in round number 2. Any sort of advice you have for these incredible celebrities and luminaries who are back? They're about to be brought in right now. You've been through this before. Any advice?
I think speak from the heart. You know?
Speaking from the heart. Absolutely. And you did that, and you wowed our audience, and you're in the second round, man. Guys and gals, a great author here. Jason London and I are going to talk about our new show right after this segment as well. Jason, you had a good Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was amazing. It was incredible. I had lots of family around and all of the good stuff. It was
Jason, is it fair to say that you're also kind of scouting the talent here? We know that it'll be random in round number 2. We'll put all the names of all the luminaries that have made it to the second round. Once round 1 is over in a few months, pick them out of a bowl. You might draw your brother Jeremy. Who knows who you might draw?
Oh, that would be fun, wouldn't it?
I think the fans are interested in that. Jason London, a new show. Absolutely, guys. We will talk about that. Guys, Jason is getting ready to take this thing real seriously. He's got his pen. He's going to be judging this thing. I'll put you in the back momentarily, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Jason London, guys and gals. Guys, I'm going to start bringing in these incredible competitors right now, one at a time. Our first participant is a kind man that places emphasis on family, despite a smorgasbord of acclaims. He remains grounded, much in part to his upbringing from parents, Patricia and James. Growing up in Massillon, Ohio, he credits his musical prowess to his father, who played trumpet in high school. His great-grandfather learned to play violin by ear. Man, does that rule. At age 4, as a tiny Avi Klein, all I can recall is creating storylines with Transformers and G.I. Joe. This man at age 4 would listen to his mother on an old gigantic 8-track stereo, rocking some Barry Manilow. As a child, guys and gals, he'd rock back and forth to I Can't Smile Without You. Soon, he would be the glue that took his band through and through, and we'd all be privy to their breakthrough, as their millions of fans went cuckoo, even now long after their debut. But let's never forget to review what this man had to pursue. Talent personified. He could give people the starting pitches and keys to any sound from memory. His range will leave you speechless, like when I first saw Lana Turner and Jekyll and Hyde portraying Beatrix Emery. He has an older brother, Mike, a younger sister, Tina, and heck, as a child, and one day met Joe Namath, O.J. Simpson, and Roger Staubach. Although he played football in high school, he wasn't the typical jock. He absorbed himself in glee clubs, school, musicals, and choirs. That's right, a jack of all trades, a Renaissance man. That is what success requires. In college, he played football and was in Kent State. Excellent psychology program. Struggles don't define us. Resiliency does. So despite the exams, the moment of damn, with nothing in the fridge but cold milk and one singular golden gram, this man said, I can. And through sheer will, positivity, and dedication, they love his music from Amsterdam to Birmingham. His inner peace is a palace. No need for Buckingham. When he started his band in college, it was with his buddies from Missalan, Washington High School. He pursued a music career with Jeremy Vogue and performed at cheerleader camps before they got signed. So let's face it, the moment would most definitely drool. As some members quit, his dreams didn't. So he ventured out to the second largest market in a city called LA. The first tenor and his band were inspired by Boyz II Men and became the first white band to sign with Motown Records. They definitely were on their way, as they were able to convey messages that you can listen and replay, whether you were a bar hop student or even a Padre. This ambitious, talented, and kind founding member of the internationally acclaimed, multi-platinum, Grammy-nominated group sold over 15 million albums with 4 top 5 radio singles. Heck, they sold over 10 million records in a 5-year span. Even reading these accolades, someone needs to get me a fan. I can't possibly deadpan the fact that his band was a force like Dolph Lundgren's version of He-Man. The group produced mega hits such as I Do, Because of You, the #1 hit single featuring Mariah Carey called Thank God I Found You, while the group also collaborated with Stevie Wonder on the song True to Your Heart, on the soundtrack for Disney's hit animated feature Mulan, and of course the #1 hit, The Hardest Thing. The man could sing. He made the record company some bling. But guys, have we figured out who this mystery celeb is just yet? I mentioned the heart, so it's quite apropos for me to mention the name 98 Degrees, ding ding. They reached gold or platinum status in more than 60 countries around the globe. Your curiosity's piqued? So guys and gals, no more need to probe. His solo career in music and acting are yet even more reasons why he is a precise genius of an artist, like a painter or a master chef. So put your hands together for a wonderful human being and legend, last name Timmons, first name Jeff. Jeff Timmons, welcome, my friend.
Avi, thank you, man. That is quite the introduction. I like all the other previous guests. I can't say that I've done a ton of these things, as you know. I've never had an intro like that. Kudos to you, man. It's an honor to be with you. Thanks for having me. I totally appreciate it.
Well, the honor is all mine, my friend. And, again, a lot of people here, you heard all the luminaries. They're here to win this thing. Jeff, you're here to win the entire thing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, when we were talking about this on the phone and the pre-production stuff, I was like, look, it sounds like fun. I'm not really into the competition side of things with this. But after seeing all the luminaries that came before me, I can't help but my type A get involved with this and have to want to win this thing.
I love that. I love that you said that. Man, guys and gals, 2 out of 3 of these mystery celebrities. Now we know that Jeff, it's no mystery. Guys and gals, we're looking at a Grammy Award singer. We're looking at a man that stood up and led his dreams. Guys and gals, the dreams didn't remain idle. Dreams can go to sleep. This man woke up. He said, I want to do something regardless. He did it and excelled at the very highest level. My friend Jeff, I'm going to put you backstage as we bring in the other 2 celebrities.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, Jeff. Guys, Jeff Timmons is here to win this thing, and we're going to have a lot of fun. That's the most important thing. We're going to have a lot of fun as well. So, guys and gals, our next participant is a class act, and he has a heart of gold. His father was his hero, and he experienced something unique when he was just 11 years old. He accompanied his father, who had a broken tibia, to the ring against Tarzan Tyler, but even as a youngster, he sold. Imagine being privy to your father's grudge matches against Abdul the Butcher, a dastardly heel, who in the ring would bring the doom and gloom, only to find out that he's chatting it up with your dad in your house in some other room. This is due to the fact that his participant grew up part of pro wrestling royalty. 4 generations of legends that started with his great uncle. How about that for loyalty? At 17 years old, despite his father not being receptive, he asked his mom for $350 and went to Calgary to train for Stampede. The territories awaited, so in 1978, he went somewhere that required speed, but indeed, his father would not have agreed. Louis Laram suggested that he wrestle in Mexico. The altitude and language barrier were challenges, but it helped. It helped him get into great shape, and he learned to do his infamous back flip. As athletic as he was just as entertaining on the mic with a quip. On-air showmanship, yet he maintained his honesty and would always shoot from the hip. Georgia, Alabama, Memphis, all stops where he would hone his craft as he would continue to excel. Whether it was his brother, Armand, or Raymond, he could gel with just about anyone and go bell to bell with athletic stories in the ring, which were quite the stories he would tell as he would help others propel. In 1985, the WWF came calling during their heyday. For nearly a decade, he would become a talent there, a definite mainstay. He won the Intercontinental title from the great Bret the Hitman Hart. He always knew how to reinvent himself and have a clean start. Legendary feuds with the Big Boss Man included a storyline stint at a New York City jail. Later on, he and his partner Carl would win the tag team titles 3 times, and they always seemed to prevail. Around the time we remember him in WCW, he would do what only a handful of people did in history. He pinned Hulk Hogan clean in the Molson Center. The reason for this is no mystery. It is because he's a class act, and he and his family are so respected, and that is well deserved. Let's not forget something that many who have seen the man behind the persona have personally observed. He's helped many kids, as his fight against bullying and discrimination is one reason why he's an absolute gift. Let's all put our hands together and give him quite the lift. And let's take our time. No need to be swift. Some of you might recall the iconic theme song, All American Boys, or perhaps the Mountie who always gets his man. Many of you would flock to get a glimpse of this legend. So put your hands together for a wonderful human being. Last name Rougeau, first name Jacques. Welcome, Jacques Rougeau.
Very, 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 very good. I don't know what to say, to be honest with you. I think you should write my own book. You know, it's pretty awesome, Abby. I really like the intro. Would you do that again?
A little later, I will, I promise you, Jacques. My God, you deserve every bit of it. You do so much for children. Jeff Timmons does so much as well. I love having you guys on for what you stand for. Our next guest as well. But Jacques, I got to ask the magic question. Are you here to win the whole shebang?
The Mountie always gets his man. Remember that, Avi.
I love that. Jacques Rougeau is here, guys. Remember, 2 out of 3 of these incredible celebrities and luminaries and human beings who are legends for what they do will advance. One will be eliminated. Jacques, I'm going to put you back momentarily, my friend.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Jacques and Jeff are going to show up here in about 30 seconds or so, about a minute, because we have to bring in our third participant, guys and gals, and I cannot wait to bring this man in. My God, I can't wait. Guys and gals and pals, our third participant is one of the all-time greatest and revolutionized the game of basketball. In a moment, this virtual arena he will enter. His father, Donald, was a playground legend. He was 6'3", 6'4", and he played the 5, otherwise known as center. This incredible competitor dribbled the ball during halftime and timeouts watching his father play. Years later, watching him dribble the ball was like ballet, as his talent was on full display. He was always the leading man on the court like Marlon Brando doing his thing on Broadway. In the 5th grade, he made the 6th grade team, then the 7th grade team, and as a 6th grader, he made the 8th grade team. Do you see the theme? His work ethic and dedication allowed his reality to mimic the dream. His parents had an unfinished basement, so for an hour and a half, he just dribbled. That is nonstop passion. Imagine, there were 2 columns about 3 or 4 feet apart, and the walls. These conditions weren't about to provide any compassion. But he was relentless. He would throw behind his back, a behind-the-back pass, left hand, right hand, a crossover dribble. There was a 7.5-foot ceiling. After all of this, dribbling outside, compared to his innovative way of training, seemed rather appealing. Repetition done right, like dribbling the ball or walking the ball between his legs while doing the groceries. As for growing on the south side of Chicago, 75 and Essex and Yates, some definitely had concern and worries. But there were many mentors in his life, such as Old Man Mo, who told him to get real regarding free throws. He also told him about his surroundings in college and make sure to be on his toes, because who knows, because some smile on your face even though their intent is to oppose. In high school, Donald Pippen taught him the fundamentals. As a matter of fact, one night he took him out of practice so that he could watch Isaiah Thomas. Much to this Hall of Famer's bewilderment, he was told that he got an identical game to Isaiah. That was no exaggeration. That was a promise. And speaking of high school, he took 2.5 hours of trains and buses to get to Carver, where legends once held court. We're talking about legends like Terry Cummings, Cazzie Russell, and others who excelled in this sport. Chicago native Russ Bradford helped recruit him to UTEP and told him about Nate Archibald. He wanted to go to Illinois, Oklahoma, Michigan, and Iowa. In UTEP, he wasn't initially enthralled. Oklahoma took Mookie Blaylock, who was definitely no afterthought. But sorry, Mookie, this Hall of Famer definitely had a better shot. I'm just saying. It worked out well because Coach Haskin had an affinity for guards who are quick and are generals that can lead. And lead he did, changing the game and innovating. He even had the gift of gab like Apollo Creed. Twice he was named MVP of El Paso's Sun Bowl Invitational Tournament in 87 and 88 as fans looked on in wonder. He won the Naismith Award in 89 as the best player in the nation, 6 feet tall or under. In 1989, there was a plethora of great point guards drafted, such as B.J. Armstrong, Mookie Blaylock, and Sherman Douglas. But this man proved that he was truly the best of the best. Try stealing the ball from him and you'd be depressed and stressed, but never detest a man like him who was the quickest draw on the court since the days of the Wild West. Speaking of West, Who could forget Run TMC, megastars on one team, the Golden State Warriors? They changed how the game was played. Leading the Miami Heat, his presence was always an upgrade. How about 15,000 points, 7,000 assists, over 1,400 steals, 5 All-NBA teams, 5-time NBA All-Star, and a 2000 Olympic gold medal? I'm going to speed up these rhymes so you can meet him. No time to backpedal. Everyone tried to emulate his UTEP two-step, that crossover dribble in which there was no rival. Defending him was no different than surviving the Predator. It was all about survival. What he does with his foundation is incredible, something that is no mystery, because he has a heart of gold, and that speaks to me, an educator that once taught U.S. history. So let's welcome him in, as his infectious smile lights up a room, as he eliminates the grim on a whim, be it outside of the game or in the gym. Put your hands together for a Hall of Fame player and person. Last name Hardaway, first name Tim. Tim Hardaway, welcome, my friend.
Thank you, man. That was great. I love the introduction. Yeah, you go with me anywhere and introduce me anywhere. I love that. I appreciate that. That was the best introduction I ever had in my life, my career. Thank you very much. And it's a pleasure to be on.
You deserve so much, man. And again, much like Jacques and Jeff, you do so much for others. And I want everyone to know, guys, that once this conversation we have living room style is over, we'll talk about some of the things that Tim, Jacques, and Jeff are doing. They won't bring it up, but I will, because they are always here to help people out. And that's what's up. And that's what speaks to me, my friend.
Yeah.
Look at all the love here. Tim Hardaway, guys. Tim, would you concur with all the luminaries? Are you here to win the entire tournament?
Oh, no question. I mean, I at first, I thought it, I looked at it and everything, and I looked at it as being fun. But, if I'm going to come on do something, I'm going to try to win. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to win. I'm coming in first place. My wife, I think she wants to go to Greece and have fun in Greece.
There you go, guys. Greece, $13,000. It's on the line. It's going to be a long tournament. This may go over a year, but guess what? We're having fun doing it. Yes. Tim Hardaway, senior guys and gals, Jacques Rougeau, and Jeff Timmons. Welcome. Jeff Timmons, here we go.
How you doing?
Hello again.
Good to see you
Hello
guys.
again.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Guys and gals, we're going to start with topic one. We do have judges in the back, including Jason London. Joe Rossitano, you'll be judging as well. Your votes are worth 3. And, of course, we have some wild card voters. Yours are worth 3 as well. Robert, everyone else in the comment section, your votes are worth 1. We'll get this thing started right now, guys and gals and pals. So, story of our lives. After reading so many biographies and listening to so many audiobooks and watching biopics of historical figures and celebrities in the industry, people sometimes catch themselves wondering who they would personally select to voice their own memoirs. Sometimes it's timbre, tone, inflection, accent, gender, credibility, all the above. But after all, there's one thing that most audiobooks listeners can agree on. It's that a great narrator truly elevates a story and evokes something from within. So if you ever found yourself choosing an audiobook based on the narrator, ranking your favorite performances, or even daydreaming about which famous voice would read your very own audiobook, you're amongst friends. Guys and gals, our 3 competitors, we're going to find out who they picked to narrate their life story or inner dialogue. Guys and gals, we'll start off with Jacques Rougeau. He'll explain why he selected Jesse Ventura, who's in the second round of this tournament, as a celebrity or historical figure that he would cast to narrate the story of his life. Once Jacques is finished, Tim will explain why he selected Samuel L. Jackson as a celebrity or historical figure that he would cast to narrate the story of his life. And Jeff Timmons will explain why he has selected Matthew McConaughey as a celebrity or historical figure that he would cast to narrate the story of his life. Jacques will start. If at any point Tim or Jeff want to rebut, index finger, I'll pop in and they can rebut anytime they'd like. That's optional. Jacques, my friend, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
In a 3, in a 2, in a U.
All right. Well, Jesse the Body Ventura. Why would I like for him to tell my life story? Well, there's a couple of reasons for it. I think that everybody's going to agree that we're all groupies in our own kind. People, we're all celebrities, but we all have our groupies. But us also are groupies to people. And me, Jesse the Body Ventura, he won my heart so many places in life, especially being side by side with Vince McMahon on Monday Night Raw or on a wrestling show on a pay-per-view and describing my match when I was in the ring. And I can't forget the great fight I had with Big Boss Man when the loser had to spend the night in jail in Madison Square Gardens with the real crooks, because I was a Canadian law enforcement officer in my character and he was a big county patrol officer in Georgia. And but Jesse the Body was just having all these great lines, and he's got this voice there that I always enjoyed. And as a matter of fact, Jesse the Body Ventura, I fell in love with him in the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was spitting on everybody's shoes. They're chewing tobacco, and, I just thought that was the greatest thing because it was really him, you know. And like Vince McMahon always said, the best characters that got over in our business is the characters that are true close to the real personalities of the person that you're incarcerating or you're projecting. By the way, you got to excuse my English, guys. I'm French Canadian, so I may say some things sometimes that don't translate from French to English, but in my mind it does. But anyway, all this to say that yeah, Jesse the Body Ventura. Plus, he was governor. Everybody knows that in Minnesota. But I think the most important thing that happened between me and Jesse, why he's always been a place in my heart, is I do a lot of Comic-Cons around the world right now. You know, you guys do it too. We go do signatures and we go around the world and we meet people. And when I met Jesse the last time I was at a Comic-Con, it must have been like 30 years since I had seen him. And because I was in the WWF from 85 to 95. So I was at a Comic-Con last year. And when I heard that Jesse was going to be there, I was so happy because he's my idol. He's always been my idol. So I went up to him, and I'm doing this big wrestling academy now. It's a contest of wrestling in Canada, and I'm always getting input for all different wrestlers to encourage the Canadian wrestlers to give a cute little word for them to live their passion and their dream. So I was hoping that when I went to see Jesse, that he'd do me one, a little, hey guys, wish you all good luck, Canadian wrestlers, or something like that, a little plug to inspire the wrestlers in Canada. But what the truth was, since I haven't seen him in 30 years, and for me, when I think of him and I look at him, he's such an important man to me in my life. I was hoping he'd remember me. So the thing was great because when I got to him, I tapped on his shoulder and I said, Mr. Ventura, it's a guy I work with every day when I was with him, but it's been so long. So I said, Mr. Ventura, I said, I don't know if you remember me. He says, of course, Jacques Rougeau, I remember you, the Rougeau brothers, you know. And when he said that to me, it was like, holy shit, you know. It's like when you're a groupie, you're a groupie. So I felt really good about that. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and say that what an honor it was to work with him, and I love his tone of his voice. He's got a great tone of voice, and he knows my business, our business. He was in it, so that's why I'm going with Jesse the Body Ventura.
I like that. Jesse Ventura will be narrating your life. Would there be "I ain't got time to bleed" line in there somewhere? We love that line. We love that "I ain't got time to bleed" line from Predator. And yes, they were playing Long Tong Sally. That's what they were playing in Predator. They were listening to Long Tong Sally, and then of course the Mission. So they had to jump. And man, Jesse Ventura, guys and gals, would be narrating Jacques Rougeau's voice, according to Jacques. And of course, now we're going to kick it over to Mr. Tim Hardaway, who will explain why he selected Samuel L. Jackson as a celebrity or historical figure that he would cast to narrate the story of his life. Are you ready to go, good sir?
Yes, sir.
Whenever you're ready.
You know, I never met Samuel Jackson. I want to meet him because he's a great actor, first of all. And to me, he's very articulate. And I think he'd be the best person to articulate how I played the game, how I grew up. He'd get the fans, he'd get people really involved and really see and imagine how I was when I was growing up and what it took for me to survive in Chicago, what it took for me to take the bus and the train an hour and a half from where I live to Carver High School and go through 3 different gangs and the Disciples and the El Rookins to get to school, and how you had to have your head on a swivel, and how you had to really concentrate and be on your P's and Q's, as my dad and my dad's friends would tell me, be on your P's and Q's, have your head on a swivel, make sure you know where your surroundings are, make sure you know where people are. And he will articulate that down to how people can relate to me when I was going to school, and how I played the game of basketball, how I went through my practices, how I went through my preparation, how I went through how to understand how to invite criticism. You know, people used to say used to be cruel out there. You know, they used to talk to me and say, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that. But I took that as constructive criticism. And I think that Samuel, he will put it in ways where he'll say it in a voice where he'll be like, do you know what I mean? You do know what I'm talking about? This is how we used to do it, and so and so and so and so. And then he'll come back and he'll be simmering. He'd come back and bring his voice down, and you know, and be like, yeah, you know, I had to be humble. You know, I had to understand what people was talking about. I had to understand how I need to go and practice and work on my game and prepare for my game for my next opponent. So I think he will be the perfect person for me to talk about my life and make people understand. Because, you know, when people talking about you, some people would say it in a way where, you know, yeah, okay, right, all right. But I think he'll be to the point and make people really understand how I grew up and how I felt and what I had to do to make it in basketball. So, yeah, I think he'll be a perfect person to narrate my story.
Tim Hardaway Sr., thank you again. And guys, please thank Jacques, Tim, and Jeff for sharing their heart, sharing their mind. They're doing this live, and we respect that wholeheartedly. I never worked with Samuel. I've heard him talk to some young writers, and he said something that actually spoke to me. He said this, I think it might have been like about 10 years back or so. He said, look, there's going to be people that talk about you, but there's also going to be people who speak about you, especially in the rooms that you're not in. And when he brought that up, that really resonated with me because, you know, being able to kind of respect people, I think is something we should start off with. Until someone proves that they don't earn your respect, why can't we respect our neighbor, regardless of their affiliation politically or regardless of any of that stuff that we don't talk about here on the show? I love that. So, guys, Samuel L. Jackson, what a great choice by the great Tim Hardaway, and what a great choice for Jacques Rougeau, another great, Jesse Ventura. And now we'll turn it over to our third great, Grammy Award winner, Jeff Timmons, who will explain why he's selected Matthew McConaughey as a celebrity or historical figure that he would cast to narrate the story of his life. Are you ready, good sir?
I'm ready. It is a tough act to follow, these two guys. I mean, their demeanor, their excitement, their histories. I'm again honored to be on the show. I picked Matthew McConaughey because, first of all, he's got that cool Southern drawl. He's a good-looking guy. He goes with the flow. He's laid back. He kind of rolls with the tide, which is the absolute complete opposite of what I am. I'm OCD, ADD, type A, go to bed late, get up early, always on my phone, always checking my emails, so obsessive about everything, uptight, which anybody that knows me would get a laugh that I picked Matthew McConaughey. But one of the things that we do share is we came from humble beginnings and lived a dream. We're living a dream. We went out and were inspired to do something, came from small towns. He achieved the pinnacle of success, which is an Oscar. I know you've been saying we won a Grammy. We did not win. We were nominated a couple of times, but still honored nonetheless, but inspired by him. Anytime you hear this guy speak, you know, haven't gotten a chance to meet him, wish I could, but, you know, just inspired by his speeches and the fact that he tries to remain humble throughout this process and whirlwind, which we call the entertainment business, which is bananas. It's hard to stay humble. People around you change, your family changes, your friends change, and you try to remain the same and grow from it. And, you know, I'm inspired by that guy. I have absolutely nothing in common with him other than, you know, setting the sights on living the dream, being successful and making a change. So that's why I picked him.
Thank you so much. And guys, I think they got, you know, listen, to me, you're a winner. That's why I called you a Grammy nominated. To me, you're a winner. In the Klein household, you're a winner, my friend. But yes, Grammy nominated artist Jeff Timmons of 98 Degrees. Guys, we're going to bring in our judges now who will be voting. Jason London, again, who's in round number 2. Great storyteller, a legend as well. We're going to bring in Joe first. Joe Rositano, who gets your vote and why, good sir?
So for me, first off, good evening to you all. It's excellent to see you here tonight. But for my vote specifically, I'm going to have to go with Tim Hardaway on this one. All of you brought passionate arguments, but now imagine from this point of view, describing how you get into the game, specifically going from a more rounded perspective of third person, but at the same time is capturing those key little moments, the little intonation in how he describes a situation or where something maybe gets more intense. Sam has the ability to push forward. So my vote goes to Tim Hardaway on this one.
Thank you, Joe Rosatano. We
Thanks.
appreciate that.
Congratulations. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Guys and gals, Giselle, if you'll be tallying in the back, I know you'll be doing that. Thank you for tallying everything. Jason London, my friend, pretty soon you're going to see the hair come down and the sweat. Because even though I'm not voting, you are. I'm not envious of you, my friend.
Hey guys, hey, listen. First of all, I'm going to ask for forgiveness. I've got to keep my hand over my mouth. I got a cleaning earlier today, and my top lip is still half numb. Every time I talk, it's hilarious. I've been sitting here waiting for it to stop doing it. So I do apologize.
Yeah, I seen that before. I seen people that got their teeth done and whatever, and then, yeah.
Oh man, it's the word. Like you could poke my lip with a pin right now, and I couldn't feel it. Oh man, it's weird. I can smile.
There we go. We're already winners when Jason London smiles. Thank you.
Yeah. So hey, listen. I mean, amazing arguments there. I mean, it was really great. Big fan of Tim, and I love the idea that because you had with Sam, you would have somebody that could really tell a story the way that you would want it to be told. Jeff, I mean, you were talking about how you guys are completely the opposite. Matthew telling your story about a guy who's like OCD and stuff like that, it wouldn't work, pal. That wouldn't work, man. And so I'm gonna go with Jacques because I loved your enthusiasm. You're like a kid, and you got to work with one of your heroes, and you got to really like have him be a part of your life. So I'm gonna go with Jacques.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason London. We appreciate that. Thank you, guys. That's topic one. We have another 2 topics to go. And remember, guys, again, the TKN Network, 70 celebrities with their own talk shows beyond what we're doing here on Saturday nights. We talk about really important topics: distracted impaired driving, education, recovery, all positive things, but we know how to cut it up and have a good time as well. So please join our network. We've only just begun this first year. We're going to get this thing green lit, damn it. I know you're listening in the back right there somewhere. We're going to get this thing green lit. We're going to do it in a positive way. So with that, let's turn it over to our viewers and see who they voted for and who wins this first round. Remember, this is all cumulative. So the top 2 vote getters after 3 topics will move on to round number 2. Giselle votes for Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway Sr. gets a vote. Okay, let's log that. Jacques and Tim and Jeff, but my vote goes with Tim Hardaway. Thank you again, Blake. We appreciate your vote. Okay. Tammy says she is voting for Tim on this one, but it was a hard choice, without question. Robert Arrowwood says, hard to pick, but I'm going to go with Jeff Timmons. Thank you, Robert Arrowwood. We appreciate your vote as well. More votes coming down the pike here. Let's try to make sure I get all these here as much as I can. Olivia votes for Tim. And Randy says he votes for Jacques. Jane votes for Tim Hardaway Sr. Okay. Thank you, Giselle, for tallying this in the back. We appreciate that. Jeff says he votes for Tim Hardaway. Dakota votes for Jeff. We have more votes. Julie votes for Tim, and Johnny votes for Tim. Jeff votes for Mr. Timmons. Thank you, Jeff Reeder Jr. Appreciate that. And Mel Red votes for Tim. He really made a great point about the person needs to understand you. Thank you again for your thoughts, guys and gals. Rory votes for Jeff. Okay. A couple more votes coming down the pike here, guys. As I work out the old index finger, Brandon Weber says Tim. All right. He made incredible points. Alex votes Jacques. And Ramona votes for Tim. Okay. We've seen a lot of great comebacks, guys. Howard Collado votes for Tim. Love the strange duality he made an argument for. That's Howard Collado voting for Tim Hardaway Jr. An intense show tonight, a fun one as well. Lester concurs and votes for Tim. And Karen concurs and votes for Tim. Love the way he expressed himself. Thank you, Karen Calabretta. Thank you all for your live votes. Victoria, I agree very hard, but I have to go with Tim Hardaway. Okay, guys, I'm not going to read all these because we'll be here till 5 a.m. and then we won't be as exciting as we were earlier on. So let's see what we get here. I'll count this thing down momentarily. Some votes. Let's see. Pull these up here. We have Mindy McNine voting for Tim. Okay, and Christopher concurs and votes for Tim as well. I'm so torn. I know how you feel. I can relate, and that's why I'm glad I'm not voting. So start your own show, and you won't have to vote. There you go. Jim Baggs, I vote for Tim Hardaway. And Ed Hauser says Jeff Timmons has my vote. Remember, guys, after round 1 and only after round number 1, there'll be a special feature, the Second Chance Bowl. Those who've lost, we'll give them a chance to perhaps come back. Victoria says she votes for Jacques, had amazing points. Guys, I'm going to count this thing down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. We know there's a 4, and a 3, and a 2, and a 1, and a 0. So with that, at the buzzer, Jester Gambit also votes for Tim Hardaway. So there you go. Okay. After one round, let's tally this up. We are Tim Hardaway, 22 points. Jacques Rougeau, 6. Jeff Timmons, 5. It's very close there. And guys, we have 2 more topics to go. So let's see how it goes. Topic number 2 is historical roommate. We're going to have a lot of fun with this one because if you've ever been on the lookout for a roommate, you know how hard it is to find someone who fits what you're looking for. I've never had a roommate, so I wouldn't know. But people bring with them all kinds of stuff from what I hear. Physical possessions, personality quirks. A new roommate might have some clothes you might want to wear, maybe cool gadgets, but they could just as easily be accompanied by a problematic pet or some really obnoxious friends. There's just no way to know. When we get to thinking about this conundrum, we wonder which figures in history would be okay to live with. Leaders, celebrities, members of royal families, inventors, they'd all have much to offer in a living situation. But what would the pros be? And would they cancel out some of the cons? We're going to rotate things out. Jeff Timmons will explain why he selected Tony Robbins as a historical figure or celebrity that he thinks would make the ideal roommate, and he will explain why. Jacques Rougeau will explain why he selected Jimmy Hart as a historical figure or celebrity that he thinks would make the ideal roommate, and he too will explain why. And then Tim Hardaway Sr. will explain why he selected Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as a historical figure or celeb that he thinks would make the ideal roommate, and he will explain why.
No.
Tim?
I said Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali. Yes, I'm sorry. Muhammad Ali. Guys and gals, I stand corrected. Okay. Muhammad Ali. Tim Hardaway will make a case why Muhammad Ali will be a historical figure or celebrity that he thinks would make the ideal roommate, and he will explain why. Mr. Timmons, are you ready to go, good sir?
Ready to go. Ready to go.
3 and a 2 and a U.
Okay, so I picked Tony Robbins. I know there are a ton of historical figures out there that I could have picked that are more impactful to the world than Tony Robbins. But for me, in my journey, I picked Tony Robbins. And the reason was this. I started my group, 98 Degrees, with a bunch of other guys I went to college and high school with in Kent State, Ohio. We quit school. You know, we didn't have some of this technology you have. Actually, none of this technology you have at your disposal. We didn't have YouTube or American Idol or Snapchat or ways to put up videos and auditions. So you actually had to go to where entertainment was. So you either had to go to New York or LA. And we just picked up and quit college and drove to LA and sang a cappella on the streets of LA. And we were about to get signed. I'm from a very small town in Ohio. And we were about to get signed by James Brown, of all people. And the guys I was with, they got scared. They got a little bit nervous that it was actually going to come into fruition, and they quit. They went home for Thanksgiving and never came back. But I decided to stick it out. I decided I wanted to continue the dream no matter what. I mean, I had nothing going for me. I had no group. I had no manager. I had no record label, and I had no money. But you know, nonetheless, got a job doing security. And I actually was working at security at clubs all over LA and Phil Collins' estate. And, you know, I started to get a little bit depressed and thought about giving up. And my brother turned me on to Tony Robbins' books. And at that time, he wasn't the mega mogul that he is now. It was just some self-help books. And I worked 12-hour shifts. And I had plenty of time to listen to the radio, Kiss FM in LA, and read these books. And it was really nothing novel. It was just kind of organized common sense, writing your goals down, you know, putting timelines on those goals and not putting limitations on those goals. And, you know, so I would sit during those 12 hours and write these really lofty goals. The first one was get a group, get a group. You know, that's the first step. Then get signed, get a manager. Then it was really lofty goals. Get a record on the radio, get a record on Kiss FM, have a #1 song, yada, 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 so on and so forth. Get nominated for a Grammy, and didn't put limitations on those goals and those dreams. And then, you know, fast forward a year and a half later, all of these lofty goals came true. Every single one of them came true. In fact, they superseded and overachieved the expectations that I had written down on those papers. I still have the notebook today. And then it came full circle for me. When we were doing a show in San Diego, and there was a knock at the door in our dressing room, and it was Tony Robbins. He wanted to meet us, and he had his son there and wanted to meet us. And I know it sounds kind of cheesy or canned, but really it's about kind of putting things in your mind into motion, and then seeing them and visualizing them come into fruition. And for me, it's been a dream. And the fact that this guy had put sort of organized that for me and helped me achieve those goals and helped me put a plan into motion, that's who I'd love to sit with and room with and figure out where he gathered his data. And I'm sure there are predecessors to him like W. Clement Stone and Napoleon Hill, where he kind of took excerpts of that. But had I even had some of that knowledge earlier in my life, I could have probably kind of put things in motion a little bit sooner. But I was inspired by that, and certainly I'm thankful that my brother turned me onto those books.
Yeah, but it's worth noting that you paid forward, man. I've seen how you speak to people and how you conduct yourself with anyone, whether it's a YouTube podcaster, whether it's on national global television, and you're a class personified. There's no doubt about that. Align yourself with your highest potential, right? I mean, that's the most important thing. Surround yourself with people who believe in you and who are positive. And sometimes, even though your goals may change along the way, maybe your humanity won't change. And that's a beautiful thing. So thank you for sharing that with us, Mr. Timmons.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate that as well. Guys and gals, Jacques Rougeau will be next. He'll explain why he selected WWE Hall of Famer Jimmy Hart as a historical figure or celebrity that he think would make the ideal roommate, and he will explain why. Are you ready to go, good sir?
I'm ready to go. Jimmy Hart. Anybody who has watched wrestling over the 40, 50 years, they know the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. But what they don't know about Jimmy, and I need to explain a few things about wrestling, because wrestling's a crazy world. I was in an era where in the 80s, when I was the most popular, I was in WWF at the time, in the Hulkamania days. That's why I got a shirt on right here, there, Hulkamania. But just to say that those were the days, when the Hulkster, would get those people, those 93,000 people in Pontiac Silverdome, and the biggest indoor show ever happened. And Jimmy Hart, he was such an asset to the business, because Jimmy Hart not only was managing with the megaphone around the ring and putting a lot of charisma and a lot of entertainment in your match, he was also the guy who created the music for WWF. All the wrestlers had their entrance theme. It was by Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart, you may know that, Jeff. Jimmy Hart was part of a group called the Gentrys. And he was like in Soul Train, and he was on the top of the charts in the United States and everywhere. He was the lead singer. So Jimmy Hart was a great man that had music in him, and he created actually two of my theme songs that even today when I go in Comic Cons, like 35 years later, people come up to me and say, hey, we don't like heavy metal. We don't like rock and roll. All we like to listen to is Barry Manilow. Hey, we're all American. And people start singing my theme song. And then there's another song that people come up to me and say, I'm the Mountie. I'm handsome. I'm brave. I'm strong. I'm the Mountie. And I enforce the law. You could try to run, but you could never hide, 'cause the Mountie always gets his man. And I was the Mountie, and Jimmy Hart created those songs. But Jimmy Hart was much more than that. Jimmy Hart was the guy that he was the only manager that I knew, and all the managers like Bobby Heenan, Slickster, Mr. Fuji, all the big managers that were renowned. Jimmy was the only one that when you get on a promo, whether it was for Europe, for Japan, for anywhere around the world, Jimmy would introduce his men. He'd always come on and say, he'd be the only manager that I know in the business till today that would go ahead and say, hey, because Mean Gene Okerlund was the guy who was doing the interviews at the time. If any of you guys watch WWF, Mean Gene Okerlund was the man doing the interviews. And he'd always come on, Jimmy, and he'd say, hey, Mean Gene, let me tell you something about my man here. My man is this and my man is that. And contrary to all the other managers that would come on the air and they would say, let me tell you something. I'm the brain here, and I'm this, and I'm that. And Jimmy Hart was never spoke about himself. He always put the heat. He always put the importance on his proteges. He'd always make you feel like, almost like Avi did when we came on the show today. He would make you feel like $1 million before you'd come on the air, and never take the camera for his spotlight himself. He was also the guy, Jimmy Hart. I got to tell you something about Jimmy Hart that was amazing. He would spend so much money. Like, he was your manager. He always had some coat jacket, sports jacket and pants, but he'd always have a design done of his character on his coat. if he'd come with me to the Mountie, as the ring is the Mountie, he had a Mountie coat that he would put on. So he would give my character importance. He would never have something about Jimmy Hart. He was always taking care of his talent. And plus, many other reasons why Jimmy Hart is so easy for me to say Jimmy Hart, because Jimmy Hart was the guy that when we landed we were 25 days a month on the road, guys, from like Rome to Paris to Montreal to New York to Philadelphia to Los Angeles to Hawaii to Sydney in Australia. We were doing 25 days a month on the road. And Jimmy was one of the only guys, there wasn't many guys in that era that wasn't smoking or taking drugs or taking steroids or going out at the dancing clubs at night, coming in at 5, 6 in the morning drunk, living their high profile life and all these, you know what I mean, guys. It happens in every sports and there's always guys that were wild and crazy. Jimmy Hart, he would finish his job like my brother Raymond and myself and Tito Santana and a couple of guys that I could name, that when you'd finish your job, go back to the hotel, get some food. The next morning he was in the gym and he was so professional. We'd have some meetings to go to do some media, some signings, some autograph signings. Jimmy was always there a half hour early. Always a half hour early. Always professional. Always clean. Never always clear-minded when he'd come to do things like that. So I remember going to London one time, and when all the boys would land in the airplane, the first thing they'd ask everybody is, "Hey, where's the nightclub in town tonight?" So they'd worry about the show after the show, where they're going to go have fun and party. Jimmy Hart would be like, he'd be with me, and every day he'd say, "Hey, Jacques, you want to go shopping?" Because we'd love to go like in the underground in London. We go where the bootleggers were, where people would make some designs and pictures and sell some merchandise that were illegal. But, we'd go look for things like that. And then we'd go in the underground, then we'd see a big laminated picture of Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior, Andre the Giant, or this and this. And then you see the Mountie on one of those that was made. And then we'd buy our pictures and we'd save them and bring them back home to put them in our own gym and stuff like that. But Jimmy was always a guy that was reliable, professional, on time. So Jimmy Hart was my man.
Wow, thank you, because you're sharing something that was personal to you, someone that you were up and down the road with. And I can attest to the fact that Jimmy's also a very picky eater as well.
He loves the French fries.
Yes. Jacques Rougeau, guys.
French fries are good.
Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with that, guys and gals. And again, thank you again for sharing us, something that really is personal to you, and something that, again, right now we are finding out more and more about the person rather than merely the persona. Mr. Tim Hardaway, he'll let us know why he is selected, guys, Muhammad Ali, as a historical figure or celebrity that he thinks would make the ideal roommate, and he will explain why. Are you ready to go, good sir?
Yes, sir. I think Muhammad Ali and myself are the same. When I was growing up and watching Muhammad Ali, what made him were exactly, I think, what made me. People doubting him. People didn't understand him. People didn't give him credit for what he stood for and what he was trying to do. And that's how I grew up too. I met Muhammad Ali a couple of times. I met him in it was funny. We was headed down in Boston, and we was going downstairs, and we was checking out the hotel, and we was going to play the Boston Celtics. And the guy said, "Hey, Muhammad Ali upstairs. He want to talk to Tim. He wants to talk to you for a second." I was like, okay. We went upstairs and started talking to Muhammad Ali. We forgot that we had to go downstairs and be on the bus because we had to leave. And Pat Riley was on the bus, and we was about 15 minutes late getting on the bus. And normally the bus is gone. Pat Riley's gone with the bus. We was about 15 minutes late. It was about 5 of us. And Muhammad Ali was just talking about how he likes our team, how he likes how we prepare, how he likes our demeanor, how we go to the games and everything like that. And I asked him, how do you know this? You don't be in the same city we are in. We don't know each other. He said, I read up on you all. I understand you all. You all are like me, and how you proceed about your business, about going out winning games and taking opponents seriously and understanding and paying attention to details. And I was like, wow, you know, and that's how we got into this conversation of talking and everything. And I wanted to talk to him more and get deeper into it. And he used to live not the south side, but like near the south side of Chicago. And every time we went past his house, I used to say, yeah, that's Muhammad Ali house. You know, that's one of his houses here in Chicago. And my dad's like, yeah, he lives there. You know, he's never there, or we don't know when he's there or anything like that. But I just wanted, you know, I would think that me and him would have a great if we was in a hotel room for a weekend, I think we will miss every event that we need to go to, because we have something in common and we have something that we could talk about for about 3 days. I could talk to him about how I grew up and what it took for me to be who I am, and he could talk about the same thing, and it was kind of similar to how I grew up as he, you know, be talking to me. Like I said, people doubted him for day one. You know, he spoke his mind. He made people understand that, you know, you have a voice, and when you talk, people will listen to you. And if you don't talk, people won't listen to you. But you got to say what you feel so you get it out, and so you can make a difference in this world or in people's lives. And that's what I try to do with kids each and every day. When I talk to kids, I try to make a difference in their lives each and every day. You know, it's not only about basketball. It's not about sports. It's about being a great person. It's about respecting people. It's about getting an education. It's about making your parents proud. It's about making a difference in other people's lives, knowing that you made it. And that's what Muhammad Ali stressed, and that's what he tried to do with Jim Brown, what's his name, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and all those guys. And he made a difference. He really did make a difference with his voice, with his boxing, and making people understand you can achieve stuff, even though you might be the underdog, even though somebody might be bigger than you, powerful than you. You can always use your mind to get around and to make things happen right for yourself. And that's what I did. I used my mind, even though I was little, even though I was short. I made a difference by using my mind to go out there and try to outduel, but really outthink other guys on the other side of the court, so my team could have a chance to win. So me and him are the same. And if like I said, I think that would have been a great roommate to be with and to talk with for days. And we would have, you know, we could have accomplished a lot.
Thank you so much. And guys, before we continue to vote, thank you for sharing that. You know, I always bring this up to our audience when I taught history. Diane Nash, who's still with us, she was a freedom writer, and I heard her speak, and incredible conversations. You know, she said something about Muhammad Ali. He inspired the freedom riders. They inspired him. So how about that? Two groups of people inspiring each other to come together for a cause. And it's beautiful to know that we can still have conversations and maybe not be in agreement. But if you're going with your gut and you do your due diligence, what can go wrong? You can sleep good at night knowing that you've said something you're passionate about. That's what Tim Hardaway Sr. is doing. That's what Jeff Timmons is doing. That's what Jacques Rougeau is doing. So let's really give them a hand. And guys, before again we vote, I want to bring this up. A couple of anecdotes here. I got to bring this up here, Tim. So Manute Bol had a number 10 jersey, 1989. He said, hey, man, you know, if you want the number 10 jersey, all you got to do is give me $500,000. And you said, wait a minute, Manute, that's my whole salary. And then Manute deadpan and said, I know.
Yes. He said, I know. And then I said, okay, can I have number 5, please?
He was a funny guy, Manute. Huh? He was a funny.
Very funny, man. Very funny. I'm going to tell y'all a story real quick. So I'm in Manute Bowl. They said, Manute, you gotta move your car. He said, okay, I said, Manu, let me move your car, man. Let me move your car. He said, all right, go ahead. You know how to, I said, yeah, I know how to drive a car. So I get in this car. The seat is way back here. The seat is way. So I'm standing up, driving this car. I'm literally standing up in a little Bronco, driving this car. I couldn't sit in the seat. And I said, you got to remember, he's 7'7", 7'6", 7'7". He was driving literally in the back seat of his car. He was literally driving in the back seat of his car. And back then we didn't have 89, we didn't have no camera phones or anything like that. But man, I was laughing in a way when I gave him his keys. I was laughing. I said, "Wow!" I said, I had a great time. I had that made my day right there. I was like, "Wow, that you 7'7" and driving a little Bronco."
That's like that little skit you see where the clowns come out of the car. It's like 40.
Right, exactly.
Man, that's funny, man. And 30 years back, I couldn't believe when I saw this man knock down 6 3-pointers against the Phoenix Suns. I was like, wow, 6 3-pointers in one game.
Hey, he did that against the Boston Celtics my first year. He started making shots, and I was looking around. I was like, I seen it on TV, but to see it in person, I mean, because it wasn't a shot. It was like he was just throwing it up there.
That's it.
And he practiced that.
And Nelly let him go. Nelly in practice, Nelson would let him go, right?
Yeah, he just let him go. Just shooting in practice. Once he started making, they say when he started making 1 or 2, then he's on. But he missed his first 2, he couldn't shoot no more.
That's incredible.
Avi, let me. I wanted to just say something here, Avi. It reminds me of something funny. We all know the stories of Andre the Giant, and
yes, sir.
And then I got so many stories. But my funniest story, I just want that you're making me think of, Tim, is there was this guy that used to come to the shows. He had a big pickup, with the big wheels and like a giant pickup. And when he opened the door, it was a midget. And he had the pedals fixed in the car where they were long pedals, and and he had a lot of cushions on the seat to see over the dash.
Yeah.
And I had that flash when you said that because I always thought of that guy. And he had a big pickup, and the back he had like a big trailer with about 6 lawnmowers in it because he had a lawnmower company. And when he pulled in the yard, it was so funny for the first time. Everybody look at him, wow, big pickup, big tractors, and then the guy would get out of the pickup. He was about 3 feet tall, but it was just amazing. That reminded me of that story.
Well, listen, 4 generations of pro wrestling royalty, guys. Jacques Rougeau. At the end of the day, I want to bring up something as well. I mean, we talked about this earlier in my intro. Your dad had a broken tibia, went to the ring for a match against Tarzan Tyler. Before they go out, your dad tells you that Tyler would come near him, but not to worry because you're not going to get hurt. He goes over to shake your hand in the ring, and he ends up slapping you down. And then, Jacques, your dad smartened you up a bit to the business before this, so you knew enough to sell it where it got over, correct?
The funniest thing is, like, my father was always my hero, and as a wrestler, I was like 3 years old. I used to go out and watch my dad at the Montreal Forum, and then I didn't know wrestling was fake until I was about 13 years old, and that one day, the night my father broke his knee in Three Rivers, and then the next night he had a big engagement, and then he knew he couldn't, but the doctor wanted to put it in a cast, but there was a sold out arena the next night, and my father, unlike me. My father was a tough son of a gun. He was a real man. And I'm an artiste, but my father was one of those boys that, they could fight. And he was a tough guy. And they don't make men like that anymore in our days. But anyway, long story short is my father, he goes to the doctor and he says, no, you're not putting me in a cast. I got to wrestle tomorrow night. So he had to figure a way to go to the show the next night. So he's on painkillers. And so he told me, and I wasn't smart to the business yet. I didn't know. So he told me, he says, listen, I was in the dressing room before he went to the ring. He says, listen, when you come with me to the ring tonight, I'm going to give you my robe. When I take my robe off, and I'm going to give it to you. And he says, when I give it to you, he says, Tarzan Tyler's going to come in the ring. He's going to come close to you. He's the big bad guy of the match. He's going to come close to you, and he's going to offer to shake your hand. And when he does, just put your hand out, and he's going to slap you, but he's not going to hurt. He's going to slap you in the neck. Don't worry about it. And I'm looking at my dad like, how do you know that? Like, this has not happened yet. Like, how do you know that? And I didn't know wrestling was fake. So I'm looking at my hero, my dad, who now is becoming a phony. Like, and he's killing my dreams. He's killing me. But I did it anyway. So at the age of 13 years old, I got smart to the business. And I took a hell of a bump when he slapped me. My feet went up in the air. And my father, right from there, when that happened, he gave him one right hand. He knocked him out cold. Only not a real knockout, but in wrestling, he knocked him out cold. He fell down, and my father laid on top of him. And to the happiness of all the crowd, the referee went 1, 2, 3. So my father did the match anyway, so he saved the show. But he did that because he had a broken leg, and that's why I got smart to the business, because of that incident.
Now that's one hell of an education. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah. And a disappointment too.
Well, I'll tell you, maybe I'm wrong about this, but Jeff, your favorite book growing up was The Alchemist, and correct me if I'm wrong, is your favorite solo song Perfectly Imperfect?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one of the favorite. I wrote that for my wife. So The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho is a great writer, Brazilian author. The guy puts nuances into every word of every paragraph of every book that he writes. And surprisingly enough, the folks from Brazil don't actually embrace him. So when I do interviews, when I did interviews with the people from Brazil, the press in Brazil, I would bring up Paulo Coelho and they would not be happy that I brought him up for some reason. But he's one of the most prolific authors of all time. And a lot of people do cite The Alchemist. I mean, the book has sold like 40 million copies or something ridiculous like that. And I was handed that book by a prolific songwriter named Diane Warren, won multiple Grammys. I mean, legendary Hall of Fame writer. And we were doing a song back in the day on our first album. She took me to the mall. We were doing in Atlanta recording with Daryl Simmons, and he's an amazing, legendary producer. Just a dream to be with any of these guys. And she was like, I think you could really, learn from a book. She took me to the mall, bought me The Alchemist. I read it, front to back. And of course it was inspired. I get inspired by books. I mean, as you can tell by me talking about Tony or whatever. And sort of, it's one of those things that, sort of puts things, it's about living your dream, that whole thing. And, getting that inspiration in a tumultuous business. Right. So yeah, that's absolutely my favorite book. And then Perfectly Imperfect is a song, my group hadn't been on the road for a long time. We have been taking a hiatus. I'd been going through a treacherous divorce. And then I met who is now my wife. And, I had, a house by myself and was, sitting there trying to write songs, and the group had gone cold, and, was trying to get there as a solo artist in a time that was impossible, really, if you weren't Justin Timberlake, right? So,
yeah,
I got inspired one night and wrote that song for her. Nobody's really heard it, but it means everything in the world to me, and it's special to her. And, wrote it top to bottom in that night, recorded it all, sent it to her. And I'm like, this is probably going to be corny. She's probably going to hate it, but
that's
she loved it. And we celebrated our 13th anniversary yesterday.
Oh,
so
that's amazing.
Very good.
Yeah, it was great.
That is cool, man. 13 years. And guys, look, this inspires me maybe to not be such a bachelor these days. Listening to that story, maybe I'll dump the PB&J and go out there a bit. But guys, we're about to finish our third topic, which means we are voting. Jason London, my friend, I'm so sorry again, dealing with some of the pain there. Let us know who you vote for and why, good sir.
Oh man, this was a good one, guys. You guys all had great stuff. I mean, Jeff, to have Tony Robbins, I mean, you would figure the guy would probably be just as if you go to the topic of being a roommate. I mean, geez, I mean, like the guy could never anything. You could just always be like, oh, look, oh.
Plus, he owns an island. I mean, how bad could it really be?
Have a choice. Keep the place clean and do his dishes, because
that's right.
He would then, look like a hypocrite.
Good point.
And Jimmy Hart would be fun. I mean, I hated him growing up, but you'd love to hate him. But yeah, that was my childhood, man. I love all of that. But honestly, I mean, I think Tim. I think I got to go with Tim on this one. I mean, to be able to sit down for 5 minutes and pick Muhammad Ali's brain and be able to share stories and even have similar war stories in a way, the way that you do. I got to go with Tim, guys.
Thank you so much, Jason. Again, guys and gals, that's what our judges do, man. Such due diligence and levity. Thank you so much for that. Mr. Risitano, who do you vote for and why, good sir?
For me on this one, I have to vote for Jacques. I say that because having little to no understanding of Jimmy in this situation, it was interesting to hear about his actual personality and who he was as a person, why he works as someone that actually would go, like, from your perspective, seeing him in person and getting to know his work ethic, how he is as a person and what his are. So, meld or not outside of how incredible he is as an individual, and that means a ton. So my vote goes to you.
Thank you,
sir. Appreciate Joe. Appreciate that. And guys, we turn it over to you, and then we have one more topic, and we're done. Let's see. Happy anniversary shout out from Rory to Jeff. There you go.
Thank you
so much. Yeah, absolutely. Actress Ramona Howard says Jacques is who I vote for. There was a but before the name Jacques, but Jacques is who I vote for. So it's interesting. A lot of thoughts there. Mindy this is difficult. I'm definitely not envious. Lester Cook says she votes for Jacques. Okay, guys, 3,000 comments on my page alone. Thank you. Let's break some records. Again, 6-figure views on 53 pages. Let's keep doing it. Tracy Mitchell says, I vote for Jacques. Hashtag wrestling life. Hashtag wrestling universe. Okay. All right. We have more votes coming down the pike. Jeff Reeder says, we're good, but Jacques has my vote. I'm glad you're good, and thank you for the vote. Thank you, Jeff. Chad concurs and also votes for Jacques this round. Okay.
No.
Jim Bags.
Very humble.
Oh, our viewers are amazing, and they're so positive. Tim, I vote for you. Vote for 3-point range. Yes, guys, Tim Hardaway could do it all. Man, oh, man. Oh, my God. This is Olivia Stagels. Tim still has my vote. Okay, got that there. 1990, man, that Warriors team almost made the playoffs, and in 91, we saw what they did. They shook things up. Took it to the Lakers with Magic and Worthy and everybody else, even Divac and Byron Scott. Chantel, Tim gets my vote. Ramon says, man, Tim gets my vote. His story was inspiring. Yes. And guys and gals, he did it again with the Miami Heat, taking them to the distance almost every single year. Alex Chumbly votes for Jacques. Rory votes for Tim. Chad said, I'm a fellow Canadian Jacques, so love from the Ottawa area. That's from Chad. And guys, Jeff Timmons, if it wasn't enough that he's a Grammy-nominated artist, also an actor and a storyteller, keeps challenging himself every day. And again, I say this from the heart, just doing my due diligence, Jeff. What you do and the way you do it with a smile on your face, man, that says a lot today in 2023. It means a lot. This is
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
You got it. And John Red, hey, maybe I got you a vote. He says I'm going to go with Jeff this round. Great job by all three.
Good job. Keep hyping me up. Let's go, Avi.
You got it.
Avi, I'm getting smoked by these guys. I should have rounded up all my boy band fans for this crew.
No, this is fun. I got to guarantee you, we got another round to go. Who knows how it'll go? And guys and gals, I'm looking at the tally. Closer. It's really closer than it was in the first round. Karen says, I love Tim with this one. So inspiring. Brought up a lot of things I would not have thought about. Is that a vote? Does that count as a vote? Jean-Yves Cachon votes for Jacques. Thank you so much. Robert, and I apologize if I didn't pronounce it right. Robert says, I know, Jimmy, it's true. Jacques gets my vote. Okay. Mr. Collado says, I vote for Jeff. Someone inspiring him while he's going through a rough patch. There you go. And Mel says she votes for Jeff this round. Jeff Timmons gets a vote. All right. Guys, I'm going to count this thing down in about 20 seconds, and then we're off to our final topic, our third and last thought-provoking topic, where these gentlemen and luminaries each get different questions that they are privy to, obviously. All right, guys, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Are there more votes coming down the pike? Let's see. Ed Hauser, thank you. I have to go with Jeff. I love the self-help, positive message. Thank you so much, Ed, for that. All right, so guys, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. There's a 4 and a 3 and a 2 and a 1 and a 0, of course. So with that, third topic, guys. Topic number 3. Questions. I'll keep this very short. Truman Capote was a witty guy. He was famous for his conversational prowess and slightly ridiculous accent. He inspired me as a writer. He once said a conversation is dialogue, not a monologue. And that's why there are so few good conversations today. They're rare. Two intelligent talkers seldom meet. But if a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist is doubtful about the potential for good conversation, are the rest of us screwed? I mean, it's crazy how difficult it is today to hold a genuine conversation. But thinking about philosophical questions can help us think critically. So guys and gals, Tim Hardaway will let us know. If his life was a movie, what would the title be and why? Jeff Timmons will let us know. If he were guaranteed the correct answer to one question, what would he ask? And Jacques Rougeau will let us know if he could stop time only for himself for a day. How would he use that extra time? Mr. Hardaway, are you ready to go, good sir?
Yes, sir. A Chi-Town story. I want tell you just a little bit about why I will call that or be my movie. Growing up in the 70s and the 80s and, in the 90s, but 70s and 80s in Chicago was detrimental to your health. As I can say, it was funny, but, it was drugs and gang violence, and you had to deal with stuff that was going on at home. As far as I can know, when I started, remembering stuff in 6th grade, my father was an alcoholic. And, he was abusive to myself, my brother, and my mom. And, alcohol is a disease. And he didn't know what he was doing. He did know what he was doing, but he didn't. But growing up and trying to deal with him, and then going to school, dealing with gangs, and then trying to deal with school itself and playing basketball, it was tough for me. It was very tough for me. And seeing what my mom was going through, it only basketball could help me cope with that. If I didn't play basketball, I would probably be in a game. I would probably be somewhere else. But it was people that saved me. And my parents, they always told me one thing: be confident about yourself. Be confident about yourself. They was great parents. But my dad had a disease, and he couldn't overcome that disease until, I guess, 1995, when he really stopped being an alcoholic. He stopped from 95, 96, all the way up to now. He's been sober. So, but it took a toll on our family at a young age. And my grammar school coach, once my mom was able to disengage herself and get away from my dad, my grammar school coach told me, he said, "Look, you 13 years old. You still got a long life to live. You got to come out here and you got to live your life. You got to go to school. You got to get your grades. If you want to still play basketball, we'll still have you to play basketball because you're a good basketball player. You're intelligent, and but you got to come to this agreement for yourself." I played basketball. I listened to him. I listened to my teachers. I listened to my father's friends. I still stayed engaged with my dad, even though he wasn't around the house, and his friends, because they always had a lesson in me while I was growing up. And that lesson, it always helped me get through the day, because whatever they said, it kind of happened each and every day. Gangs, how to fight, how to defuse, how to get away, how to run, how to hide. It was a lot of things going on back then. And, a lot of people was doing drugs, smoking marijuana, all type of stuff. So it was a very tough life for me. And people said, everything that you went through, you still got through it. Because I said, yeah, I listen. I listen to grown-ups. I listen to older people. I didn't brush them off. I didn't let one thing come in one ear and come out the other. I gave people their respect to listen to them, to understand what they were saying. It might not have been for that day. It might not have been for that month. It might not have been for that year. But if you listen very closely to what people have to say, it will take you in life where it might happen 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years down the line, and you understand what they were saying then, and you know how to put it in perspective when that happens. So people ask me, you should write a book. I'm like, yeah, I want to write a book, and I'm getting there, because people want to hear really how I made it. And it was tough for me. It was very, very tough for me. And without the people around me, my friends, you know, my parents' friends, my teachers, my coaches, you know, just making me understand. And another thing, I used to use basketball to be mean to people and try to put my frustration towards them. And that wasn't right. And my coaches said, you got to stop that. And I really had to understand what they was talking about. And once I understood that, I was really hurting myself. I wasn't hurting other people. I was hurting myself. So when I say this movie, A Chi-Town Story about Tim Hardaway, people in Chicago and in different areas in that time will understand what I'm talking about and understand the trials and tribulations that I had to get through to get to where I am today, and to be just calm, cool, and collective and understand, you know, how to deal with my kids, how to deal with my wife. I've been married for 31 years, will be 31 years. And, you know, my wife says, why are you so calm when you're talking to the kids? I say, because it's not that serious. How we grew up, it was serious. Today is not that serious. We could deal with it like we used to deal with it when we was growing up, and we could overcome this if we keep a calm, cool, and collective head. So yeah, A Chi-Town Story.
I love that. I love that. A Chi-Town Story. And Tracy, I want to bring this up. It takes a village to raise good kids. Chicago, in a sense, was there for you. With, you know, I love that story of Mo. Here's a guy who, again, God rest his soul, had some drinking issues as well, and yet still gave you so many life lessons, not just about free throws, but about how to go to college and keep your eyes open. And then there was the gentleman who'd always keep the door open for you guys, whether it was winter or summer, and playing out there, and you being able to do what you do for kids now. Man, I love this next chapter of your life, Tim. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Guys, this is, again, you're getting, please be thankful. And I know you are. You guys are amazing, but this is real. This is Tim Hardaway Sr., Jacques Rougeau, and Jeff Timmons. Jeff, if you were guaranteed the correct answer to one question, good sir, what would you ask?
I mean, they're the obvious ones, like what's the meaning of life? But I think right now, what's kind of pertinent and important these days is, are people going to come together, right? And it doesn't mean they have to agree on everything, but especially, and I didn't really know what my answer to this question when you sent it over was going to be. And I didn't even know what this was going to be about, but after being a part of it, I'm so thrilled and honored and excited and inspired by just being around these guys from all different walks of life, all levels of success, the engagement that I'm reading as this comes over, in what social media can do, and these tools that have emerged and keep emerging and are more prolific as we go along can do to be positive, right? And give voices and get people inspired and engaged in conversation, even if there are differences. Right now in our lives, and this is a question that I don't know that'll be answered in my lifetime if people will come together, because now the world is so polarized more than ever. And these tools are being used to draw people apart for whatever agenda. And I don't really get into politics, but, you know, as you can tell, you know, the answers I've been given are about inspiration, right? And inspiring people to go live their dream and achieve their dream and believe in yourself. And these guys have done the same thing. Everybody came from different backgrounds and were able to believe in themselves to achieve different levels of enormous success. And so I think that, you know, one of the things I'd like to see are more versions of this, Avi. And, you know, I was walking around on the phone and, you know, in between a bunch of different things when we were discussing this, and I was like, oh, what a novel idea. You're going and bringing three successful people together to discuss them at the same time in very interesting ways to engage fans rather than just kind of rattle off, you know, their resumes and their success stories. So I'd be interested to see where it goes from here. And I think that these platforms, I would love to see this. You know, I know you talked about it going and getting on the mainstream. I would love to see that happen because I think it could make a difference. And then there would be variations of that. You talked about spinoffs a little bit earlier when we were off copy about different TV shows. I think that this could be something that's very successful, and not to use that over cliched word viral, but this is the type of virus that needs to get out there when you have people that, you know, are looked up to, that just talk about themselves as human beings and what put them in the proper direction. So I would love to know, are we going to come together? Is it going to happen? Whether we're different is irrelevant, but people in general. So,
man, thank you. What a great question to explore the answer to. Yeah. Like, so we can't get the answer unless we explore the question. Can't find discoveries unless you explore. Thank you for that, good sir. Yeah, 22 hours a day. This is my life, man. I want us to always be able to inspire people the way that you three do. And thank you again for giving your heart and your soul, because your realness shines through. I mean, it's apparent. We're live. I mean, this isn't pre-taped or anything. We're live here on a Saturday night on Thanksgiving weekend, no less. And you guys are giving it your all. Thank you. Guys and gals and pals, Jacques Rougeau, my good friend, if you could stop time only for yourself, how would you use that extra time?
Well, first of all, I'd like to vote for Jeff on this one. I really like, Jeff, what you came across with the social medias and plus going into haters and stuff like that, and how much the life is. I really appreciated your speech, Jeff. I really did. Thank on you. This one. So what was my question again there? So I get back to myself here.
Yeah, if you had you could stop time only for yourself for one day, how would you use that extra time if you could stop time for yourself?
I'm going to try to end up with the answer of that question, but before I get there, I have to explain something, bring you guys in context. I hope I don't fumble on this, because it's a very important part of my life, and I think you guys may relate to this. I was in the world of wrestling, professional wrestling, and where we're all entertainers, but we are like movie stars, athletic movie stars, and acrobats and movie stars. But the truth is in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, they would bring all these tough guys in, you know, and they would break them in the business. But they had all these guys that really believed in themselves, and plus it was a show that we were given in the ring, but a lot of them were really, really in real life tough guys, you know, and which I wasn't. I was an artiste. I was the guy that played the role of a tough guy, but I wasn't, you know. And when I got into WWF in 1985, there was a lot of competition. A lot of people were making more money than the normal old federations around the world, the territories that they call. It was like Vince McMahon had gotten the whole world together, and the best wrestlers around the world put them together, and all gave them hope that the sky is the limit. Like, you know, that everybody could make it big, and they all put stars in our eyes. And then came the era of steroids and drugs, and a lot of the guys, because they were on the road 25 days a month, they lost track of reality. They were living their character. They were living their gimmick. And with the drugs, it became hard between us, the ones that weren't taking drugs or that were serious, and that we were caught in the middle of, how can I say that, male alphas, or I don't know how to explain that, but almost like a jungle. For me, when I was in the WWF, it was like a jungle. And then came these two guys. They were called the British Bulldogs, and they were guys from Europe, and they were packed up on steroids, and they were partying every night. They were mixing pills and alcohol, but they became dangerous human beings at a certain point that, to be honest with you, I was afraid of them, you know, because when they come in the dressing room, you'd never know. On one day they come in and they'd say, I'd say, "How you doing, guys?" And then they say, "Oh, how you doing, Jacques?" And then the next day I'd say, "How you doing, guys?" Fuck off, you know, and for no reason, like, you know, they were like, they weren't the same guy they were yesterday, and we never had a conversation. So their mental situation was going up and down every day. You never know, if you said the wrong word or something, that you could get beat up in the dressing room. And these guys, the British Bulldogs, they were known to be bullies, really tough bullies, and they were tough wrestlers. They were fighters. They were tough guys. And so a couple of guys that I know, like myself, were always on our guard, like, you know, always watching what we'd say, that we wouldn't offend them or that we wouldn't try to draw any heat with them. And on one given day, I fell on the shit list of these guys, and they were what we're calling doing bad ribs in the dressing room, bad jokes. Like for example, you'd go wrestle in the ring, and then you'd come out, and it was like 15 below zero outside, and one of your leg pants was cut off your pants, so you'd have to go to the airport with one-legged pant, or go back from they were playing jokes that weren't funny, but they were entertaining themselves. It was on the road 25 days a month. They were bored with life. They were so they were entertaining. I remember a guy, Outback Jack, that came from Australia. He was hoping to be in the WWF one day, and it was his dream to make it there in the big leagues. And he was like only there for 6 weeks, and he didn't have any friends. And he had the same accent, like hello, mate, and the same pretty much as England, and those guys are from England. So I guess there must have been a little jealousy there. So when this guy came in with the long blonde hair like Crocodile Dundee, and he had this gimmick of Outback Jack, where he had videos, vignettes of him fighting crocodiles and coming into the wrestling world with his own character, like Jake the Snake, Jake the Snake Roberts, and different characters. So this guy, he was really starting to get over, but had no friends. So was sitting in the dressing room, and I remember if it was like yesterday, the Bulldogs, they were world tag team champions, so they were the key pins in that jungle. And so they walked, and they looked at Outback Jack one day, and they said, "Hey mate, you want to come with us to the bar tonight? We're going to go see the girls." And so he felt like, wow, the world tag team champions are asking me to go out with them. Like, oh wow, I'm in the clique now. I'm in the gang. They're accepting me. And then so he went to the bar, and when he got to the bar, after 1-2 drinks, he went to the bathroom, and they start putting Alcyons in his drink, like sleeping pills, and they really drugged him bad, to the point where like at 4 o'clock in the morning, he was laying on the bar, and all his blonde hair he was like on the table of the bar, and so they took a razor and they shaved all his hair off completely. But that was his character, that was his gimmick, like he was making money with that was his livelihood. So when he showed up at 6 o'clock, 6:30 at the airport the next morning, because we had an 8-hour flight, and I remember Ric Flair being there, Macho Man and Hulk and Vince McMahon, they were all at the airport, and he was drooling from his mouth, and the Bulldogs had him one arm on each side, and they made him look like, well, they made him lose his job, and so those were the kind of jokes they were doing. And on one given day, I went into the ring, and when I came out, I had someone that told me that they played in my bags. So I told one of the guys, who was called Mr. Perfect, I told him, I said, hey, I'm not going to stand for this shit. It's hard enough on the road. I don't like people playing with my gear, and this is not funny. So Monday, I'm going to go ahead and tell Vince. And I'm not to be a stool, but I'm not going to tolerate that kind of behavior around me. And so the guy who set me up told me that that happened. He went to see the Bulldogs when I left the building. And then they told the Bulldogs, say, Jacques Rougeau is going to stooge on you guys to the boss Monday. He's going to get you guys in trouble. So we were 3 days at home. So when I went back to wrestle in Florida, we started back after 3 days at home, starting another 25-day tour. I was in Miami, and my father's a snowbird. We're from Montreal. So my father picks us up at the airport of Hollandale, brings us to the arena, the Miami convention. So we have supper at my dad's, we sleep at my dad's, so it breaks the tour, and we get to see our family. And so I'm at the building in the dressing room, and we like to play cards in the dressing room. When we had to get there like at 6 o'clock and leave the building at 11, and we're on almost main event or before the last, we had like 3 hours to kill. So there's a couple of guys that like to play cribbage or cards, so we'd get the table. So this guy who stooged on me, he set me up in the corner of the room at the end, and he put my back to the dressing room. And then about 10 minutes after I start playing cards, the Bulldogs came in with the Hart Foundation. There were 6, Don Morocco, Cowboy Ace Horton. There were 6 guys that used to stir the shit up. They all came in, the big tough guys. And from behind, the Dynamite Kid from the Bulldog, he came, and he just like, pow! He said, sorry. I'll be back in a second, guys. I must have hit the TV here. Hold on. So anyway, so he slapped me. Sorry about that, guys. Are you still there? Okay. So he slaps me on the side of the head, and I fall off the chair. And then he really knocked me senseless because I had cards in my hands. I wasn't like ready to fight. And they came from behind. So long story short, I'm not going to take too much time, but they beat me up bad. Fists in the face, boots in the mouth. The Hunchback of Notre Dame was me in my face when they finished with me in the dressing room. I was in a pile of blood, and I swear to God, I've been in the business. I did 45 years of professional wrestling. That was my whole life, is professional wrestling. And at that time, I wanted to quit the business. I just wanted to go home. But I was tag team with my brother Raymond at the time, and I knew my father My father was in the stands. He didn't know that happened in the dressing room. So when we walked out to go to the ring, my brother Raymond went to the ring, and then I came out, and my face was this big. I went to wrestle anyway, you know, but I was really messed up. And after 7 minutes in the match, I just told the referee, count me out, because I can't go anymore. I was too messed up. So when I got in the car, my father's car, to go home to Hollandale from Miami, he looked at me in the back. Raymond sat in the front of the car with him, and I just didn't say a word. And my father and Raymond both tried to talk to me when I was going home, and I never answered them. I was gone. I was in a different world. I was like, I don't know how to say it. I was traumatized, and I never answered. I never talked to him. So I went to sleep at my dad's house. I took the plane the next day. I went 3 days to Chicago. We landed in Chicago, O'Hara. Then I did Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and a couple of dates around there, and never talked to my brother in a car for 3 days. Same room, same car, nothing. I was really traumatized. And then on one day, on the fourth day, because we were going in the dressing room, and the Bulldogs kept coming around me with their bags and banging their bags around me, like, you know, intimidating me after I was beat up like this. And I always put my head down like, oh, please don't beat me anymore. Please don't beat me anymore. And then I'd play the game, but I was serious too. I'd actually, after a beating like that, you don't want to get beat up again. So I put my head down like that. And then after the fourth night like that, being embarrassed and humiliated in front of everybody, I told my brother, it was the first time I talked to my brother. I told him, I said, coming Monday, next Monday, it's TV tapings where everybody's there. The whole crews are there. The 3 crews that go around the world at the same time, they're all meeting for TV tapings. I'm going to do my revenge there, my comeback. And on Sunday night, it had been a week since I'd seen my dad, since he saw me beat up and never had a chance to speak with me. I have 3 kids today, 3 boys. So I imagine how my dad must have felt when I never spoke to him when I left Miami the next day. So for that whole week. So I called him on Sunday night, and I told my dad on the phone, I said, Dad? He says, hello. I said, Dad, because I couldn't talk. My mouth was so messed up still. I said, Dad, I said, it's me. He says, so he says, how are you doing? I said, okay. So I just want to let you know that tomorrow I'm doing my comeback tomorrow, because my father was my hero in life. And I wanted him to know that I want to stick up for the Rougeau name. You know, I'm not a fighter, and I'm afraid of shit, but I'm going to do this for the family. And so you know what my father answered me? My father looked at me, and he told me on the phone, I couldn't believe it. My father, because he was a tough guy. He says, the only thing he told me, he says, you listen to me. Before you go to Fort Wayne, Indiana tomorrow, he says, you stop at the bank tomorrow morning. And I'm saying to myself, oh my God, not about money again, you know, like, you know. And he says, you stop at the bank. He says, you go see the desk clerk there, and you get yourself a roll of quarters. And he says, when you hit him, he says, you hit to kill him. You hit to kill him. And that's what I did the next day. And all his teeth came out, and I broke his face up. And I'm not a fighter. It was the hardest thing. I remember the whole week I was preparing for that. I'd eat in my hotel room and traveling, and I'd throw up after eating. I was so afraid. I said, what if I miss my shot? You know, what if I miss it? And they beat me up again, you know. But all this to say that was the worst day of my life. But for the next 25 years that followed, that just passed by, I've been doing conferences in schools, you know, giving conferences about bullying, how to beat bullying without using violence. Not like I did, but how to do it without using violence. And on this one given day, I got this call from this guy about an hour from my house. And he says to me, he says, Mr. Rougeau? I said, yes, sir. He says, you came to my daughter's school last week. And he says, I'd like to speak with you. I'm in Raponsigny. So I'm going like, oh shit, did I say something wrong in my conference? Because there was 600-700 kids every time I'm giving conferences. So I said, maybe I said something I shouldn't. And I'm always a guy who's outgoing. There's no gray zone. It's black or white with me. I always say what I think. And so I said, maybe I said something wrong. So I went to see the man. And the man told me, he says, he said, in really 2 minutes, the man told me, he says, Mr. Rougeau, he says, it's been 6 months that every night I'm sitting at the table, and my daughter, she's sad, she cries a lot, she's depressed, she tried to commit suicide 3 times in the last 6 months, she's being bullied at school, and she said, and he said, you went last week to her school. And one of the tools that I gave the students is to always to help each other. I'm not going to go into how I do it, but it's like sticking together and helping each other, even if you don't know the person. And my methods work. I've been doing it for 25 years. And he told me, he says for the last 6 months, I've been going to get my girl at school. She doesn't take the bus because she's been bullied in the bus and that. And for the last week, she's smiling. She's in the bus. And then she told me that the next morning of my conference, because girls could be mean too in school, let me tell you, it's not only men. And so there was a bunch of girls that used to go see his daughter, intimidate her and bully her. So the next morning of my conference, there's like 6 girls that went to see her, like I would say in my territory, in my language, to try to piss on their territory. So they went to see the girl that they were intimidating the next night to show them that, hey, it's not because this guy came to talk about bullying, it's going to change things. And they came, and the 6 girls came to see the girl. And in the instinct that happened, there's about 10 girls that came and grabbed the girl and said, come with us. And they left and they took her with her. And the bullying stopped. And for a week it stopped. And so when the man called me at home to go see him, he told me, he says, Jacques, he says, I just want to tell you something. My girl is smiling now. She's laughing. She takes the bus. She doesn't want me to go and get her at school anymore. She says, you used to be my hero in wrestling, but now you're my hero in life. And that was, I think, the best day of my life. I think that if I had to have another 24 hours like that, I'd like to go ahead and make a difference in a kid's life like that.
I'm not going to say much. I know this sounds cliche, but I've never been prouder to be a human being than I am tonight right now.
Stop
Like,
it.
The goosebumps. No, there's no shtick. There's no witty comeback. I'm blown away. If you could take a lie detector test, you'd see I'm not exaggerating, because this is.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
this is
that.
amazing. No, this is amazing, and I'm.
I think
getting
all these
messages-
guys, I think Tim and Jeff, they're doing it in their own way too. I think it's and I like the way
all 3
Tim
of you
said that before. He said that
All
we
3.
have a chance to make a difference in kids' lives and people's
You are.
life because they look up to us, and I think it's a role that we should take.
And adults. You're making a difference in adults' lives too.
Oh, yeah,
I
no
got a text message from someone at the studio, and he's blown away too, because we're sitting back here, and I know when you're in the moment or you're on screen, you can't really process it. We'll do the processing for you. You're inspiring people, guys. Like, I'm telling you right now from the heart, this is such an amazing time to be a person. Wow. With that being said, I'm glad I'm not voting once again. Joe Rossitano, you're up. Who do you vote for and why? As we are about to find out who moves on to the second round of the celebrity tournament.
Oh, goodness gracious, Avi. This has been a crazy. I know. I know. There's been so many good ones. The person that right off the bat I want to vote for, and I am going to vote for, is going to be Jeff in this case. Your argument was very fluid. I agree with a lot of the ways that you went about how things can change. Life can change for us. Social media has changed and has also ruined a lot of the perception that we have. A lot of people are coming apart from this. It's very hard to perceive where things are going and how they will continue, because you don't know to what extent that goes to or what consciousness people will have of their life situation. So will it turn out for the best? We shall see, but you give a very positive spin on what that could be and at least a drive for hope. My vote goes to you.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. Absolutely. Olivia, can't decide. Don't blame you. Let's bring in Mr. Jason London. Again, Jason, how do you vote on something like this with these 3 inspiring human beings before us?
All right, sorry. I'm getting that weird thing, where your eye starts twitching. Starts coming back. It kind of tickles, but it doesn't really tickle. Oh man! And I know you guys would probably love to make fun of me here, so I'm not going to give you the pleasure. What I wanted to say is, blown away by all of them. It's hard to even say it. Tim, write that book, because I'll be one of the first people to want to read it. Really incredibly inspirational.
Thank
you. And Jacques, incredibly inspirational as well. So I mean, I just think that to take what you've been given and to give it back so much in such a beautiful, positive way is incredible. And I do have one real big question for you. Wrestling's fake?
Yeah. Sorry to give you the news.
My great Buster would have been so pissed off right now.
But you gotta keep one thing in mind, though. It's still a tough job to do, though.
Oh, believe
can't fake gravity. Can't fake gravity.
So much respect that you can't fake gravity and you can't fake bones. shoulder and muscles there. So I can often throw a rib out. But I loved what you had to say, Jeff. And Jeff's got my vote on that one. And
thank you.
I got to vote for everyone and not actually feel like I was doing it to make it like an even thing. Everybody was brilliant in the category that I picked, and we'll leave it up to the people.
No, I want people to know a bit about Jason too. Jason and I communicate a lot. The man, you guys know him, of course, as a film and TV star, but man, he's so much more. He has been in this industry. He's been in this industry longer than I have. I've been in the industry for about 20 years professionally, working for two of the best studios in the world. Jason's worked for many more. It's so hard to find people who still don't lose their humanity. And he's the real deal. And I appreciate you for who you are, my friend. So thank you.
I love you to death, brother. You know that, man. And I'm so incredibly honored to be able to be a part of this.
I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much, guys.
We got a lot of stuff coming up and a lot of stuff we're going to plan. We got planned for the future. So, man, it's incredible honor to meet you guys. And, all I can say is you guys are incredibly amazing and should get your own TED Talk.
And take a look at this before Jason departs, because we don't want to keep him here with what he's going through now. But guys, London is burning. Take a look at this. One of 70 shows, one of 70 celebrity shows on this network. It's going to be a great positive show. We'll talk about a lot of different things. That's after the holiday season. Jason, thank you so much for joining us tonight, my friend.
Oh, you're welcome. This.
Yeah.
Keep me posted on that, man.
Yeah,
Jason,
good luck with that.
All right, guys.
Have a good night, my friend. Man, what great comments and thought from Jason London, who, again, is part of this amazing network that features luminaries like Tim and Jacques and Jeff, who stand for something positive. And right now, guys and gals, we turn it over to you because your comments have been positive. Jeff brought it up earlier, and he's absolutely right. Just seeing how you guys are commenting is amazing. Seeing how you're hanging on every word is amazing, because these words are sentiments that can help you if you allow them to. Jim Meyer, thank you so much. An amazing show. This one goes to 11. Thank you so much, Jim. I appreciate the nice words. Robert Arwood, and please thank Jeff, Tim, and Jacques, and Jason, and Joe as well. Tim, for sure. Tim gets the vote. Let's find out who moves on. Guys, during the third round, the competitive streak comes out. Let's see who wins. Well, imagine the combinations. It could be, what if we see a Jesse Ventura versus a Jacques Rougeau, someone he looked up to? What if we see a Tim Hardaway versus Eddie Johnson? Two very class acts from Chicago. Who knows what the combinations we might get? All were awesome. Absolutely. Let's see. More votes. Robert going with Jacques for personal reasons. Been there, done that. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate your vote. We're happy to have you here as well, Brian. Thank you so much. This is amazing for sure. More votes. Let's see. Jacques gets Jester Gambit's vote. Let me pull this up. Thank you for your vote, Jester Gambit. London is burning will be brilliant for sure. Thank you so much for the nice words regarding TKN. This is where all the stars come together. And that includes all of you guys who are commenting. I think Tim should win today. You voted for him, so let's see if that happens. Right now, he is our top vote getter. Guys, I'm trying to count all of your votes here. I'm not going to get all of them here, but let's see what you got so far. Tim Crossover Hardaway gets my vote, and Brandon Weber concurs. Brian concurs as well. So that's 3 straight for Tim. Mindy McNine Red says, I vote for Jacques. What a powerful story. Guys, remember, whoever loses here obviously didn't lose because, man, like all of us, were winners by listening to one another,
Yeah.
And there is a second chance bowl too. So there, might see some of the individuals who lost before come back. Lester Cook votes for Jeff. 3.7 thousand comments. Thank you guys on my page. We have John Red voting for Jacques in this final round. Okay. Thank you, Damien. I appreciate that. Jeff Reeder, Jacques' story was so deep, so he's got my vote. That is from Jeff Reeder Jr. And guys, in about 20 seconds, we'll find out who's moved on to round number 2. I'll ask Jacques and Jeff and Tim just to hang around for 2 more minutes, just so we can kind of talk to them one-on-one before they depart. They've got a lot of good stuff coming down the pike. All right, guys, 10, 9, 8, 7. Jeff says you all won this round in your own right, but I have to go with Jacques. And Ramon concurs and also votes for Jacques. Thank you so much. And Karen also votes for Jacques. Ed Hauser votes for Jacques. Love them all. Tim, let's just hope for the best with our youth in the future. From Ed to Tim Hardaway. And actress Ramona Howard votes for Jacques as well. Okay, guys, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, and a 4, and a 3. There's a 2, and a 1, and a 0. So we're done, guys. After 3 topics that have inspired the masses and myself as well, the final tally is as such. With 34 votes, Tim Hardaway Sr. will move on to round number 2 of the TKN Celebrity Tournament sometime in the next couple of months. And Jacques Rougeau with 27 points will also move on to the second round of the TKN Celebrity Tournament. Tim, Jacques, and Jeff, I'll give it up to you, man, as well, because up until 2 weeks ago, we never spoke. Jeff, man, wow, you come on as inspirational as the viewers say that you are. So thank you, my friend.
Well, thanks for having me. Look, it's an honor to take a back seat to these guys. I'm sure they're going to do you justice. You guys are going to crush it on the next couple of rounds. Again, this has been as rewarding to me as it has been probably everybody else watching. It's been an honor, guys, and thank you, Avi, for reaching out and having me on here today. It's been awesome. So thank you very much.
Tim and Jacques, if I could put you back just for a quick minute, I'm going to talk to Jeff just for a moment.
Jeff, let me ask Jeff. Jeff,
Sure.
is that a big microphone right there?
It is. So the microphone is small, but this thing basically replaces having to be in a booth. So I can record studio quality stuff right here. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
Avi, I just want to say something to Jeff also.
Sure.
Tim, I enjoyed you tremendously, but Jeff, I got to tell you, I've always said in life, normal people are here, their IQ is there, and autistic people are down here. So I should be somewhere around here, and to hear you talk, you really touched me, Jeff, because you kind of showed me something today that I've been trying to understand, and the way you put it, you made it so clear to me. You gave me a lot of answers today in your last comments, and I just want to thank you for that. What a great time, and I appreciate having this time with you tonight. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Jacques. The feeling's mutual. Tim, it's an honor to be with you guys both. Thank you for the kind words, and I hope we get to reconnect in person one of these days. It's been
that'd be wonderful.
It was a great ride tonight. I didn't know what to expect, and ended up really getting a lot out of it. So it was great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Tim and Jacques. I'll bring you up momentarily. Jeff, there's a lot of stuff you've got coming down the pike as well. You're a very busy man, very active. Anything you'd like to let our viewers know right now?
Yeah, look, 98 Degrees is going to be a part of a big New Year's Eve special on Nexstar, which is in a bunch of markets. We have some new music coming out. I'm doing a lot of behind the scenes, producing a documentary that's coming out here in the next year. We have new music, a new album, part of a new record label that's launching, just a ton of stuff. And just follow me on my socials. I'm pretty much hands-on on all that stuff and active, and the group's really excited to be going back out. We just finished a very successful tour, and we're lucky to be able to still be doing this 25 years later. So I appreciate the forum and opportunity to get out here and talk about some of the things we're doing, Avi, and keep doing the good work, man. This is awesome. And like I said, I hope this takes off even bigger and better than it is right now with you. And then people replicate it and it starts to get out there and make even a bigger difference than it already is, man. So thanks a lot again for taking the time on a Saturday, and everybody else that joined us. Thanks a lot for taking the time.
You are a class personified, man. You're a class person. I can't wait to get with you again. Overall, had a nice time, my friend.
Oh, I had a blast, man. This was absolutely phenomenal. So keep up the good work. And, thanks to the guys that were judging and we all know their success stories. And Jason's an amazing superstar. So can't wait to see what London is burning as well. So thanks again, man. Appreciate you.
Talk to you soon, my friend. Thank you for being you.
Thanks, Avi. Appreciate
Jeff
it.
Timmons, guys and gals. Legendary Jeff Timmons. Man, oh man, I want to bring in Mr. Tim Hardaway momentarily, and then Jacques. We have a video show of Jacques and some other stuff to talk about with Jacques as well, because there's a tournament going on the Jacques. I can't wait to talk about this. Mr. Tim Hardaway Sr., man, oh man, oh man. I popped bigger than anybody last year on September 10th when you were inducted officially as a Hall of Famer, because you revolutionized the game, and then you revolutionized how an athlete should treat people post-game. And that's from the heart, man. Like, you do so much. And there's so much other things I want to bring up as well. But let's start with Banneker Watches. Can you tell us a bit about Banneker Watches?
Banneker Watch has been in existence for about, 18, 19 years.
Sure.
We've been, we have a website. Go to bannekerwatches.com, BANNEKER watches.com. Get your husband, your wife, your dad, your girl, whatever, whoever you want a watch for Christmas. And they great watches. They
Oh,
They're,
yeah.
wood watches. We got wood grain watches that's it's in the dial. Some has wood on the band too. So really good watches, and we just we still grinding, we still getting it going. We want to get in stores. We trying to get in stores, and but yeah, they're good watches, and and all my friends have it, family have them, and they display them every day.
And you know what? After all this, I know that you and I are probably thirsty. Guys and gals, if you're thirsty, there's something you can grab called A Game Drink. There we go.
A Game Drink. I'm a spokesman for A Game Drink. 6 flavors, hydration drink. It's really good for when you're working out, after you're working out, or if you have a hangover too. Because you got to hydrate. You got to hydrate. So when you got a hangover, you can have some of these, and your friends can have some of these. A Game, and they're gonna be on shelves pretty soon, and they're gonna be across the world pretty soon.
I've had a 32-year hangover watching the Knicks, just so you know. Me being a Knicks fan, I'm sorry about that, but I'm trying to get over it. Tim,
it's coming. It's coming.
Please, Tim, please do something.
It's coming back like it was in the 90s when they had their heyday when they was playing against us. So it's coming around. Jalen Brunson has brought a flavor for you all that is coming. And I have a son that plays for the Dallas Mavericks, and watching him, this is
amazing.
It's his 11th year.
I can't believe he's been in the league 11 years already.
Me either.
I can't believe it.
Me either. So it's delightful to watch him play, going in my footsteps, where I went in my dad's footsteps, and I love watching him play. Man, he's doing a phenomenal job, and I got 3. And what Jacques was talking about, I was going through that with my daughter at a high school. She was getting bullied, not only in school, but on social media. And I had to, let her understand what they telling you is not true. But, it's hard these days because kids, they really believe in that.
Yeah.
And so you have to really, really, really counsel them, talk to them.
That's so true.
But you know what? You can't get mad with them. No. You can't get mad with them. You gotta listen to them. You gotta listen to what they have to say, because they have something to say. Because if you don't listen to them, then they gonna want to do something to themselves. So you got to listen to them.
That's so true. Yeah, like being treated like an adult, but knowing that there's that limitation between parent and child. And you're right, with education system, I couldn't teach about the Buffalo Soldiers, Frederick Douglass. Teachers are being handcuffed right now. They can't teach the real history. And that really, that's a shame. So I'm glad you brought up parenting. Tim, overall, did you have a good time, my friend?
Man, this was incredible. You know what? Like Jacques and Jeff and everybody said it on the, introduction to everything. This is different. The questions that you ask, you really have to think about it. It's like you have to think about it and then stop and then think about it again, and so we know what we truly want to talk about. And I love it, man, because it got me thinking. It got me thinking like I was back at school again. It was like an educational moment. Trying to like a science test or a math test, something like that, where you're trying to compete against everybody in the classroom. So, man, this is beautiful. You're doing a great job, Avi, Jason, and Joe with the judging and everybody. This is magnificent, man. And I like this. I enjoyed myself to the fullest, and I can't wait to come back on. I can't wait to see more of the people on here and talking about what I don't even know where you come up with these questions. I want to know how you come up with these kids. You're so innovative. I'm like, look, I mean, your mind is good. Like you said, you're a history teacher, and your mind is going all over the place. So man, I love it. I enjoy myself. Like Trish said, I can stay on here for 3 hours, but my son comes on in about another 5-10 minutes, so I got to watch.
Absolutely. And Tim, again, thank you for showing up and being who you are, my friend. I respect you wholeheartedly.
Thank you. Appreciate you all. Appreciate the fans. Appreciate everybody. See y'all again. God bless you. If I don't see you before the new year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, and everybody be safe out here.
Happy holidays, Tim. Welcome to round 2, my friend.
Thank you.
The legendary Tim Hardaway, guys and gals. Wow. And speaking of legend, the legends keep on coming. Jacques Rougeau. My God. Wow. Thank you for offering your heart to us, man. Wow.
What a great guy that Tim. Just and Jeff. You know what's funny? It's like Tim. I loved it because before I got on the show, you know, I got to tell you, me and my girlfriend, we went to Google these guys, you know, because I didn't know who they were, and you know, because I'm not a basketball fan, and I'm and I didn't know them. I don't mean to discredit them or nothing. No. I just didn't know them, and I couldn't believe the dribbling that this guy was doing. They were calling the crossovers there that he was doing, Tim.
Incredible, yeah.
Holy mackerel, this guy.
Too. So innovative.
This guy was good. Like, you know, in basketball, I don't like basketball, but I liked him. You know, he's
considered one of the best guards in history.
It was amazing to see him, you know, and you know, and like he said, I like what he said too, Tim, about this show being you come on a show like this and you want to win. You know, we all want to win because we're winners, and people who succeed in life are winners. But there was this feeling of competition when I got on board there when we started the show, and then it became for me more educational, and it was like I forgot the competition. I really started enjoying it like a fun show to listen to, and so you're really bringing something to the table that's absolutely amazing, Avi. I didn't expect that when you called me. You know, when you started approaching me with the show, I underestimated you tremendously. I'm the first one to tell you, and having those 2 guests that I got to know today, like, you know, because I went to Google, like I said, and no man, and Jeff, I went to Google him and his music. I'm a guy who loves music, you know. I did the Masked Singer last year in Canada, and I did the Masked Singer. And I do in Quebec, and you know, I'm a guy who loves music to death. And when I went to Google him, Jeff, and I started hearing, it's like he reminded me of the Backstreet Boys or some kind of group like that. But they're really good. So for me to have learned about them tonight, I'm going to sleep more intelligent tonight. I'm going to go to bed smarter tonight.
So are we, but not just intelligently. I think we're going to have a more restored belief in humanity because, guys, I want to play this. And please, guys, if you don't mind, I know that you love videos that we play. It's only about 6 minutes. This is worth playing. This is Jacques Rougeau. This is what this man does. If you have never seen Jacques Rougeau do anything but professional wrestle, he does so much more. He inspires kids. He goes to schools. This speech over here, guys and gals, is something I want you to take in right now.
I'm 63 years old. I know I don't look like it there, but I'm 63 years old, and I had a great career. I had a career that lasted 45 years in professional wrestling.
Wow.
And thank you. That's not necessary. But don't start doing that. You'll be doing that all my speech. So save it for the end. I just want to let you guys know that you're at a critical time in your life, and I remember being there myself. And I wanted to be a professional wrestler. And my father kept calling me Bones because I was so skinny. And he kept telling me, no, you can't do that. It's too this, it's too that. But I always listened to myself. And my message tonight is pretty simple. It's you gotta be what you wanna be in life. You don't wanna be a wannabe. You know, through my career, I went through a lot of long, dark tunnels where you didn't see the light for a long time because it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. But my message is, if you're living your passion, if you're doing what you like to do in life and you dreamed of doing in life, you must love what you do. I can't imagine people that go punch their cards that they, like their hour cards and their jobs, and they don't like what they do. Punch at 8 in the morning and come out at 5 at night. Jesus Christ, life must be long. Yeah. I don't see the hours go by in my life because I've done wrestling and just wrestling, and even now after I retired, I'm still promoting a wrestling academy right now. Actually, it's the biggest contest in the world right now. It's happening in Canada. where actually one of your teachers, Jessica Neary, participated 2 years ago, and she won the contest, Wrestling Academy in Canada. And being one of your teachers, that's absolutely amazing. And the funniest part is she's going to be participating again this year. And then so you have to live your passion. And you know, through the hard times, when you do what you like to do, I'm going to show you a couple of things, and then I'm finish it off real fast. But I want to show you things that made it worthwhile for me. And if you go at Toys R Us, you can actually buy me. You can actually sleep with me if you want. And for me, that was worthwhile for me, fighting all those years, and then I know this has nothing to do with you guys.
Oh, yeah.
But on one given day, I became the Intercontinental Champion around the globe. And that was a night I'll never forget. And on 4 different nights, I became the World Tag Team Champions as partners. And that made it worthwhile for me, you know, through my career. And how can I forget being the only Canadian, not Quebecer, but the only Canadian to ever beat Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
You know, that's, for me, that's amazing. And so, all this to say, I'm going to finish off by saying, if you talk to me about Wrestling Academy, which could go on YouTube, by the way, you could go see Jacques Rougeau's Wrestling Academy. It's going bigger and bigger every year. Yeah. But anybody that comes to me and talk about wrestling, my lights, my eyes glitter, my heart starts beating fast. I enjoy life, and I work out every morning in the gym. You know, I do my cardio and stuff, and my body has spoken to me my whole life, because I always said to myself, if you take care of your body, then you're taking care of your mental, because it's always nice to look at yourself in the mirror. You know, and well, that's for me, not just, sorry, that's one of my things. But that kept me going all my life. It was like looking at the work you do. You look at yourself and you work, and good health brings good mind. So I really hope that all of you will stay in shape no matter what you do in life. But the most important message I have to you tonight is, no matter what you do, no matter what people say not to do, do what your heart tells you to do, and do what you love to do, because even if you don't succeed the first time, come back a second time, and even if it takes 2 years, 3 years, it's nothing, because when you spend 45 years doing in life what you're going to do to make a living, even if it took 3 years to get where you got to go, or 4 years, it's going to be all worth it when you get up in the morning, and instead of saying, oh God, I gotta go to work, you're going to be saying, oh, I can't wait to get to work. And that makes a whole difference in life. So I'm going to just say, my last thing is, congratulations to all of you. I've never made it. I stopped at 11th grade in school, so I'm not a good example. And so I want to congratulate all of you that have accomplished what I maybe should have done in life. But just go out there and do what you want to be, and don't be a wannabe. Just do what you want to be. Good luck, everybody, and congratulations.
What an inspiring speech. Jacques, when was that?
I'm choked up. I'm choked up by listening to myself.
No, I mean,
it's
because
it's I never knew I could be that good.
No, but you're talking about the comeback. You are, and you're talking about the comeback story. Man, oh man. So when this took place, I got to bring this guy up, because guys and gals, Jacques Rougeau is highly requested. There's a man called Mike Cohn on the school board, and he wants you to continue speaking to students into next year. Am I right, Jacques?
Yeah, he's a fan of mine. He's a fan of mine, but not of wrestling. He's a fan of mine of my speeches and how I talk to kids in schools about bullying and inspirational. I don't know if you guys know this guy. I'm going to mention you a guy, but he called me this spring to go take a walk with. They had a nice walk for Terry Fox. I don't know if you ever heard of Terry Fox, but he's a very legend in Canada. He only had one leg, then he walked across Canada, and I went to give a speech on that day, and this guy Mike Cohen, and Looney Butino, and there's a couple of principals in schools that are like, I've been doing these conferences for like 25 years now in the schools, like before COVID and stuff, and all this happened because of the bullying, and that's something how life brings things to you in life, and for a reason. But the most important thing for me to tell you about this, Avi, is I found myself in life. I found a purpose, because I can't do any more backflips in the ring, but I could, but I could transmit another kind of wrestling in life. Wrestling for good values, and wrestling for what you love in life. And I'm a passionate guy, and anybody who knows me, the either they hate me or they love me, but there's no indifference.
I can't see people hating you. I can't see people.
I got a lot of haters.
Wow, that does shock me. But it shocks me because when I started the show, everyone from my litter agent to people said, you're crazy. And I kept telling them, guys, I'm going to plug away at this because I want to make sure that people see the human being behind the celebrity. And you epitomize that. You epitomize my vision, because what we got to see was we shared some jokes and had some laughs, and we talked about things that were real, but we did it in a way that was so welcoming, living room style conversations. Man, oh man, guys, Jacques Rougeau, for his unwavering dedication and commitment to youth, received an honorary plaque in recognition of this as well. But somebody brought up Hulk Hogan. Guys, I want to show you something, because they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Take a look at this side-by-side photo of Hulk and Jacques with each other as the friends they are, but also in the ring. Look at this right here. This is Jacques and Hulk Hogan.
Oh, wow, yeah, what a souvenir.
Isn't that incredible? Look at that, guys.
I even got a picture where I kiss him on the cheek, and it's funny because Hulk, he was such an icon. He's the reason why wrestling became so big over the years. Sure. Everybody looked at The Rock today and they look at guys, but they forget that if you have the greatest house on the hill, but you don't have the greatest foundation underneath your house, you don't have a great house. And the years that I was in Australia traveling 85 and Europe and Japan and people, Hulk Hogan was like Michael Jackson. He was like, right. he was so famous. You guys, we'd land in airports and the flight attendants would say, welcome to Chicago O'Hara, beautiful day. And by the way, we'd like to welcome Hulk Hogan, and the WWF.
Like the Beatles coming to town. Yeah.
Hulk was such an icon, and for him to let me win in Montreal against him, it was like, you guys will never understand what it means to me. You never will. I could never explain it because there's so many other guys that deserved to have wrestled him and beat him. And then he showed, there was only, I heard, 14 guys that did it in his career. And I'm one of those 14 guys. So it's like, I don't belong there, to be honest with you.
No, you do. And here's why. No.
But for the reason... Yeah. But for the reason he chose to whatever reason why, I'm so grateful in life, because he brought my notoriety up in Quebec and Canada so big, because of that.
No, let's say this. You, first of all, my friend, yes, you give great speeches and anti-bullying campaigns that resonate with the masses, but you've trained so many people in the craft of wrestling, and everyone that talks about you as a trainer will say one thing: Jacques is funny. Jacques makes us feel welcome. Jacques is there to give us all the fundamentals, put tools in the toolbox, sure, but also do it in a way that he shows that he cares. And that resonates with people. Not to mention the fact that the Rougeau family has done so much, in 4 generations have done so much to give back to wrestling and the fans.
It's amazing. And the greatest thing happened to me this spring, or this summer actually. There's a company called Project X Wrestling in Ontario that started a Hall of Fame in Canada, for a new Hall of Fame for wrestlers, and they inducted me as the first Hall of Famer, imagine, in Canada. And the greatest thing was when I went to get the plaque and the trophy in the front, the first thing I told them, I said, hey, they said, oh, we'd like to give this to Jacques Rougeau. I said, no. I said, this plaque and this trophy goes to Eddie Auger, my great uncle, John Giovanni Rougeau, Jacques Rougeau, Raymond Rougeau, Arma Rougeau, my 3 sons that wrestled for 15 years and 20 years. So it's the Rougeau name that was at the Hall of Fame, not me. I was just part of it. I'm like a branch on a tree. That's all I am.
Eddie Auger started it all right there. Yeah. And
Yeah, exactly.
My God. And guys, please take a look at this because more clips. But hey, you think this tournament is something? Look at this. I saved the best for last. This is Jacques' website. How incredible is this? There is such a great tournament here, Jacques. If you'd like to describe it, I'll scroll down, play some videos, clips. There's a lot going on here.
Well. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But what I want to show the fans now the most is keep going up a little bit. No, the other way. Yeah. No, I mean up. When I go up, I'm a dinosaur here. I mean, like, bring the writing up. No, bring the writing up. No, don't go the other way. Go the other way, Avi. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, go down then. If you understand it that way, go down.
Okay.
So go down, keep going down.
Okay.
So you don't have you don't have all the old timers there, the wrestlers there that on the website. Where are they? Where are the old timers?
Actually, here they are, guys and gals. If you want to look at some of the legends, take a look at this. You're going to recognize these faces. What I'm going to do now is
it's amazing. The only guys that put some good words for this tournament in Canada, you're going to be surprised to see who endorsed this. Like Undertaker, Brett, Ric Flair, and then go on, GSP, and different stars from different eras. There's so many. You wouldn't believe. You're going to recognize Coco Beware, Tito Santana, and Jake the Snake, and go on and on and on.
Check this out right here, Jacques. This is amazing.
So it's amazing to see how this tournament. It's actually the biggest tournament. It's the biggest tournament right now in the world. Yeah, you got it there. So go there. So all these guys, if you see Ricky Steamboat, Ted DiBiase, Ronnie Garvin, Coco Beware, and keep on going, you'll see all these celebrities that endorse this tournament. Tugboat, as part of your competition here, and the Fullers, and this girl Kathy there, she's Hepner's daughter. Then the Bushwhackers, and then if you keep on, you'll see all different stars. There's a hockey player on the right there.
Yeah.
And then you go a little further. You wait till you see all these personalities. And the funniest thing is when you go and you click on those pictures, you have a 30-second video or a minute video of every one of them. So if you're nostalgic a bit about the wrestling in the 80s and the 90s, just go on my website and you'll see. It's amazing, this tournament. There really is. There's going to be this year. It's going to be our 3rd year. There's going to be 4 winners of $10,000. And so it's really amazing. And the last 2 years, we've been sending some winners at the Nightmare Factory in Atlanta for QT Marshall, Cody Rhodes, Billy Gunn training them. And there you got Demolition. There you got Undertaker.
There too. Yeah.
You got them all. They all endorse the Killer Bees and Hacksaw, and so if you go click on their videos, you'll see the speech that they say. It's really awesome. But you know what? The most important thing of all this, Avi, is I'm 63 years old and I'm still living my passion, and I'm giving back to the youth. Where I'm giving a chance to all the Canadian wrestlers from Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, all the way to Nova Scotia, East Coast to West Coast. They're all participating. So if you go on my Facebook, you'll see it's public. You'll see a picture of me and my girlfriend. And then you can see all the subscriptions this year that are coming in now, that everybody
that's good ones. We got Jeremy Prophet. He's a good one over there.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have Rhea Von Slasher. She's a
good one. God, she's got a killer. She's a killer this year. I'll tell you.
She's going to go far, too.
There's so much talent.
This is a legend interview, guys. A 20-second legend promo for Mr. Jim Duggan. Check this out.
Oh, hey, folks. I'm WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan from the golden age of wrestling. I just want to wish all the Canadian men and women good luck and free me with my good friend Jacques Rougeau.
Anyway, people can go have fun.
Jim Duggan there, who's
it's a great tournament. It really is. It's a great tournament. It's a great opportunity for wrestlers in Canada to be seen worldwide. And I'm a lucky kind of guy because over the years I met a lot of people that have me do podcasts in Australia and Europe. So every time I go on a podcast, I show my show the talent in Canada. So I give them a lot of visibility, and so it's fun. It's really living my passion still up till today.
I want to play a highlight here, if you don't mind. This is, guys, 45 seconds worth of one Jeremy Prophet. Let's play this for 45 seconds here live. We're doing this all live here, guys. This is the one and only Jeremy Prophet that – look at this one.
I'm back, which means my competition out there, if you don't look, speak, or wrestle as well as I do, then the best you can really hope for is second place. And if you find yourself across the ring from me, you won't have to worry about a round trip because you're guaranteed a one-way ticket back home. Compliments of the greatest at all times, Jeremy Prophet. You see, for me, it's not about the $10,000. It's about showing that I am exactly what I say I am, and that is Canada's very best. And I dare any one of you to try to prove me wrong. Parce que cette année, je ramène le championnat de l'académie au Québec.
I love this. This is amazing.
And he's just one. You know, I don't want you to show any more, Ivy, because there's like 34 of them. But anyway, I want people to go on their own time to go on my Facebook and check out Jacques Rougeau Facebook, and you'll see all the talent that, you know, a lot of the wrestlers, people don't know that there's so much talent in Canada that haven't been discovered. And you know, I remember my dad telling me when I was young, there's two ways you can make it in this business: is being at the right place at the right time and knowing the right people. And you know, this is what's so good about Wrestling Academy is we're having them introduced to the world, bringing them to the people who are in the business. So I think it's the greatest opportunity. And plus, you know, to be honest with you, making $10,000, there's 4 winners of 10,000. That's what I made at WrestleMania, $10,000.
Wow. Think about that.
You know,
you get a cash prize, exposure as well, and you're giving everyone that platform. Jacques, you are a legend of a human being in my mind, and so many others as well. Did you have a good time tonight, my friend?
You know, Avi, you know, I'm so impressed, and I don't. There's nothing I could say because everybody said it tonight, and you know, it'd be repetitive if I said it. But Avi, you got as much as I have something going with Wrestling Academy, you have something amazing going with this show, because not only for the fans, but you're there and you're educating us. You're for someone like, you know, you're taking people from different eras, different disciplines, things that we don't know. If you're taking us out of our comfort zone, and you're making us fall in love with people that we didn't know, and that's just amazing what you're doing. And I so underestimated your show, I really did. But I'm going to be a fan, a dead fan now until all the way to the end to see how this goes and who wins this. And to be honest with you, I don't care if the Mountie doesn't get his man this time, but I'm going to follow this competition. And you know, although my girlfriend would like to go to Greece there, you know, but
and you're in the second round. You're in that second round right now.
Yeah, but you know what? There's too much talent for me to hope to win this. But you know, there's so many good talkers. I'm looking up to Jesse the Body Ventura as one of them. He's always been my idol, and you know, for him to have even recognized me, you know, when 35 years later, for me it was like an honor. And because you know, I'm a groupie of music. I'm a groupie of films and music, and the Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. When I fell in love with that guy, John.
What a scene that was. This is from Craig. I wonder, before you depart us. Craig says 1993. You came in the diner I was cooking for, and Mike IRS and you three were all kind back then. We had to charge extra for egg whites back then. You had to use a handful of eggs, but you three told the boys Raw was that night. On Tuesday all day, I had a lot of wrestlers come in. Best time for me. So thanks. I was just out of the army back then. That's from Craig to Jacques.
Wow.
Thank you.
Nice.
Craig.
And you should see that. It's so funny because, and I have a lot of people. I got to tell you this, and I'm telling this for anybody who meets me, wherever I'm at. Keep one thing in mind when you see Jacques Rougeau. Don't ever be afraid to come and see me. And I have a lot of people, so many people that approach me, Avi, and they say, it's like, excuse me, Mr. Rougeau, I don't want to bother you, but can I have a picture? And then I look at them and I tell them, hey, the day that you stop bothering me, that's the day that it's going to start bothering me. Because if we weren't there, if you guys weren't there to ask for us, that means we're not hot anymore. We don't mean anything. So never forget that when you go see your superstars or your icons or people that you meet, remember that down deep inside, they always feel good about it because they feel like they're somebody. You guys make us somebody.
Well, I'll leave you with this. You are not an easy person to forget. You are an easy person to remember, because you're worthwhile and you're a gentleman and you're honest. And I appreciate you for who you are, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Avi. So I guess we'll see each other down in a few months, I guess.
Couple of months, round number 2. Guys and gals, follow Jacques Rougeau, please, on his Facebook page. It's an incredible tournament. So many people have an opportunity to win some money, 5 figures, of course, exposure, the best that Canada has to offer. Some incredible talents like Undertaker, Jim Duggan, Jesse Ventura, Killer Bees, vouching for this incredible tournament from this legend of a human being, Jacques Rougeau, who gives so much back to the masses. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Avi. You're the best.
Jacques Rougeau, guys and gals.
Thank you.
Joe Rositano and Howard Collado, come on down, my friends, because I'm going to take a swig of water because these legends, I meant what I said. Like, I'm so proud of being a human being tonight. I'm so proud of being a human being to be in front of individuals who, once again, did not know one another prior to this, came together. The camaraderie was there. I think there's a reason why people like The Breakfast Club, right? The John Hughes movies. They have heart. And they bring these different class groups together. And by the end of the movie, they realize that they're no different. They each have insecurities. They each have hopes. They each have things that they shoot for, just like all of you commenting. And when we see these legends going through the same things we went through, the challenges, pratfalls, the obstacles, to see how they overcame them, it's not only inspirational, but it provides hope in a year, in 2023, heading into 2024, which may seemingly not have as much hope. You know, it's an election year next year, and people are divisive, and we've had COVID. But either way, this isn't some self-shill for the show. But when you're watching this, you'll be proud to be a human being, because I know that I am. Joe, Howard, please take it away.
I'm very proud to be a human being this evening. This has shown so much that is worth being alive and to be able to be in the experience rather than taking away and placing us in somewhere where we're different from these people. We're all similar in our own ways. We're all able to share this human experience.
It's, I always call what happens in these 2 hours a transcendent, transformative experience. Because what these three gentlemen always we're talking about, is what I always say, love and service, right? You see all three of these individuals being of service to their fellow man, right? To their fellow woman, to each other. And I think when we get a glimpse of that, when they share these stories, it's, for lack of a better word, it gives you hope. Gives you hope in the potential for what we are capable of as a collective human species. And you see it here every Saturday night. And it's just amazing. What did you think of Jacques? The story about the bullying, and that was just, I don't know where to start on,
Jacques was able to bring a lot out of me. I was very emotional watching his story and hearing about the bullying and how he handled it, but also how he inspires still all the people that he works with. And that this has been an evening where it's been highly difficult to vote and to just make a decision.
I did not envy your position tonight. How do you vote on someone bearing and sharing their heart, and soul, and I.
Yes, it's to not look past, but to look into what these people are as individuals. We're separating something like separating the skin from the bone. This is separating ideas that we have that are normal conversation pieces that maybe we just talk about into something that's far deeper. What it is, like Avi said, like why people like The Breakfast Club. These are people that are completely different personalities, but they're same people. They're people that feel the same things. They have hurts, they have desires, they have losses that they've faced, they have emotions and times where they've failed. They all go through similar things, but at the same time, we're all human and we can all relate on this level. And that's what I saw through Jacques' speech and conversation about bullying. I love that he is now a fan of TKN. That's a huge thing. We got a new fan. We got a fan.
Oh yeah,
and a big fan.
Yeah,
and especially Jeff as well. Jeff or valiant work on his part. I really loved listening to him, and I loved his conversation directive towards what life is or how that can be answered, and in terms of where that flows. And then, Tim with his book too, or what could be a book in the future if we get that even.
Yeah. Chi-Town Stories, I think, is what he dubbed it. It was so, I was like, that's a soundbite right there. But it goes beyond soundbites, obviously. I think Jeff said something really prolific. He's like, this is the virus that needs to get out there.
Yes.
And I thought that
It
was
is.
such a great pun on words. Mindy, how you doing tonight? I mean, what did you think of the amazing humanity we saw tonight?
I have been in my feelings tonight. If you could talk about a night that, first of all, where you go back in time and you pick a moment and why, the backstory he gave us to that moment. And he took us into a world that, I grew up in that era as it was. And so he took me into a world that broke my heart, for one thing, because I remember those wrestlers as a kid, watching them and being some of my favorites. And, I'm all for jokes. I'm all for, I'm one of those, if I love you, I pick on you kind of person. But there's one thing to be joking and being mean and hurting people.
Ruthless.
But to think that he is changing lives and going into these schools that need these stories and need this affirmation and to change kids. I mean, that little girl was going through hell and not, her whole world was over. She was crying herself to sleep. She wasn't smiling. She didn't get to ride the bus. And his coming into her school changed her whole family's dynamic because of what he went through. And he used that. It was just a very emotional night for me to think that he chose that moment and how that moment has changed so many lives. It was powerful. It's been a very powerful night. All three men, they poured their hearts out tonight.
Yeah, I to kind of piggyback what you were talking about. I mean, I've been working with middle school kids as a teaching artist for the past 2 or 3 years, and getting a firsthand look at how bullying happens nowadays. It's it's not face to face anymore. It's kids behind a phone and spreading something or picture, and it could be spread to numerous kids all at one time, and I can only imagine how psychologically scarring that is. So having individuals that come on the show that talk about this topic and theme and are not only talking about it, but also talking about tools that they could use, right? He talked about, Jacques talked about, the tool of sticking together, right? And helping each other out, sticking together that way. I mean, I thought that was just an amazing tool to implement,
The tool of implementing how he talked about without violence. And so he's talking about going back to that moment, going back to that and figuring out a way without violence after what he went through. It's what we need more of. It's what we need more people, because I can tell you, I would have probably, my first thought when he talked about the quarters, stick them in the sock. Yeah, I mean, I was all about put them in the sock, put them in a pillowcase.
Sure.
After
revenge.
what he went through.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But violence isn't always the answer, and that's where he went back to giving us that backstory to that was, and I can't even in my mind think of what he could have done differently, because he was living in fear. I mean, fear for his life.
Yeah.
But again, I go back to how that week of his life, what it's doing for so many lives and young people. And again, like you said, he's giving them the tools. I mean, we had a powerful night here. I mean, the topic of the movie, you know, that was when Tim talked about he did not use excuses. How many times do we hear people? I hear it all the time in my world and what I do at my job, where, you know, people had the father that was an alcoholic or an abusive parent, or a parent that was, you know, in prison while they were growing up, and they used those as the excuses of why they could not or would not do something.
Yeah.
And Tim talked about, first of all, they were great parents. His dad had a disease, but he didn't use it as an excuse. He didn't allow it to stop him. He allowed it to motivate him and to still be his own person and use the devices that he escaped as reality to make it his life and his passion. And that was powerful. That was really powerful.
Agreed.
110%. You know, you could become more than the scars that that are inflicted on you and that you experience in this life.
Top 5 here to give you your top 5 subject for this week, and it's going to be who I think is going to be the best triple threats to go against each other in round 2, and I pitted them for knowledge and how they conduct themselves on screen. So right away I'm going to go with number 5 is going to be Mick Garris versus Terry Allen versus Dan Lauria. Very laid back match, and I think it's going to bring a lot of knowledge into it. Number 4, I'm going to go Rick Barry versus Stephen Tobolowsky versus Corin Nemec. Another one laid back, and I think it's going to bring in a lot of knowledge, and it'll be a good one if it was to happen. Number 3, I'd like to see Mick Foley versus Bill Eadie versus Brian Blair. I think that'd be an outstanding match, and definitely one that I think everybody would enjoy. Number 2, I'm definitely going to have to say JBL versus Nikita Koloff versus Jake Roberts. You know, you never know what this one can bring, and definitely a lot of smart talent in this one if it was to come to fruition. And number 1 is my favorite, Jesse the Body versus Mark Henry versus our own Avi Klein. Well, there you guys have it. My top 5. I hope you enjoyed them, and we'll see you next week with another top 5.
Oh, that was badass.
Oh, man.
That was so sick.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes. John.
Man, how you guys doing tonight?
We're doing
I'm
great.
doing fantastically, and especially now that we just heard that from Chad. This is why Chad is the king of the top 5 when it comes to this.
Man, he is top 5. You know, it's all in the name right there. Chad is the man.
Fully.
And what he brings to this.
Full send.
Week in, week out, day in, day out. Chad is always there, man. I really appreciate what he does. What a match, guys. I mean, just when we think we've seen the best triple threat, these guys had me in my feelings most of the night. You know, I think we've all had, no matter how big you are, no matter how bad you are, there's always an opportunity for you to be bullied. And when Jacques was telling his story, I had an incident in 8th grade where I kind of had something sort of like that happen, where we all had a courtyard and we used to all kind of wait around for school to start. We got there early in the bus, and I just went over to just look at the clock to see how much longer I had, and I got jumped by a group of guys. And, you know, I some of that where he talked about, now he's a grown man going through this stuff, but when I would see these guys in the hall when they wouldn't be together, I would walk the other way. I would hide my face, you know, and like he said, you took one beat and you don't want to get beat down again, you know. Well, I got my revenge a different way. As we got older, they didn't remember doing what they did, and we all become friends. And they felt really bad about what they did, but they kind of explained to me that was their defense mechanism, kicking in and doing something they shouldn't have done because they felt like that they needed to do that to prove a point, to be, you know, a big shot or whatever. People bully for all kinds of different reasons. Some people are they're just bad people.
Yeah.
Some people are got their own problems going on, stuff going on at home and things like that. I was able to overcome it, but there's things that, I had thoughts go through my head of what I wanted to do to get revenge. And I'm glad I never did any of that stuff because it was all like real dark stuff that would have been really bad. But these kids these days, they're bullied in different ways than we were ever bullied. Because I could go home and I could forget about it.
Yeah,
But
that's what I was talking about. Yeah, you saw your bully. You actually had a conversation with your bully. These days, it's all through a phone, through a device.
Absolutely, and I could get away and I could hide. But these kids and the stuff that goes on these days, these kids can't hide from this stuff. And the fact that Jacques go into these schools and talk to these people and give them thoughts and things to do and ways to, man, what a great human being. And I totally agree with Avi, man. If that doesn't make you feel great about being, and there's people like that are going out, and there's more than just him. We need more people like that to go and talk to these young people and let them know what their avenues are, because what we don't want to happen is for a kid to end their self because of all this stuff.
Feel that hard, and especially with what can be, and life is short. A lot of the time we talk about how easy it is to get caught up in so many things that we do, but it's important to know that as much as it can get hard and it feels harsh, a lot of the time it will be better, and there are awesome moments. Thank you very much. Yes, Ed Hauser, thank you. We appreciate that. We care about this so much. And yes, Julie, it is easier to bully when it's anonymous, and we're talking about that right now. That is hard. Jeffrey says that sometimes technology and social media are a hindrance on us. Yes, absolutely. I agree. It takes away from us to be real people and talk in person. And
permanent solution for a temporary problem. Yeah,
Brian, I agree.
Definitely.
Rory, thank you. Chad Top 5. Great words, John. He agrees. And Chantel says it's like another iteration of facing your fears. Talk to your bullies. True. I agree with you there.
Yeah, I mean that's great.
That wasn't an entertaining thing for me, but everything's in timing, and sometimes, like he was telling the story about the group of girls that, sometimes we just need to bring awareness, try to get some people to go with you to talk to these people, to get them to realize the error of their ways and to realize that you're human. And sometimes there's things that go on that are misunderstandings, and there's all kinds of different reasons, but there's no excuse for it. None at all.
None.
No, and I think a lot of it always comes from a place of just simple fear. It's whether it's conscious or unconscious, a lot of bullies, they're stemming from a place of fear, anger, and they don't know how to articulate it. That doesn't at all justify the bullying. Right. But I also believe that's what's going on with a lot of bullies who perpetrate that kind of behavior. Absolutely. It's place of fear and anger, and like you said, something going on at home. That said, that's why we have so many resources today. You can talk to someone, you can, engage in physical activity, get some of that anger out, or whatever the case is. But there are solutions today. And I think the three gentlemen who were on tonight talked a lot about those solutions, but they all stem from acknowledging what's happening and also coming from a place of the heart. And I think that's so much of a beautiful thing of what they brought to this table.
What a great panel. Avi, he works so hard to bring and to put these people together, and like there's a method to his madness. He doesn't just grab three people off and say, okay, you and you, let's go. These people always complement each other. He does such a great job of putting the right panel up there. And you're never going to see this panel. You would see nowhere else except for the green room, the celebrity tournament, TKN. This is what he's done for the better part of 2023. And I don't know why we're surprised.
I mean, it's true, John. I mean, he is, and then he's working his ass off Monday through Friday, but not only that, and dealing with schedules. And also think about, we just had Thanksgiving. So booking on Thanksgiving weekend. I mean, again, kudos to Avi. And we heard from all three gentlemen the nature of the topics that Avi brings up and how, penetrative they are to the soul.
They're deep.
Yeah.
They're deep. They go beyond just casual conversation at a table. It's just it's something that's big. Like these are life hitting questions, and you can see in their eyes that they're able to not only pour out from themselves, but they have a genuine respect for each other after they get done with their topics. Like they're all like brothers or siblings at the end of these topics, and that's a wonderful thing to have live. And thank you, Avi, for making these topics possible. We appreciate it greatly.
110%.
Tim Hardaway said it, man. You know, these topics, the more you think about them, the more you think about them. You know, and it's just fun, man. It's something else.
Yeah, and Jacques really had such a great observation in terms of what they experience when they come in. At first of all, you're not sure what to expect, right? But then a certain competitive spirit starts taking over. But then by the third topic, it's there's an openness, and then there's like, oh no, we're just having also a beautiful conversation here. Ed Hauser, and we see the true people, not the crap the media shows.
Yes, it's the real people. It's really them. It's them behind what everything that's been promoted. It's actually the physical person, and we love that. Thank you very much, Ed. I appreciate that. You've even in the black box, you've pointed that out before, and I like that about you. That's very true. And thank you, Ramon Solomon. I love the brotherhood of these guests. Yes, they become brothers within the show. That's amazing. You don't see anywhere else where people immediately gel and create. Thank you, Bryn Weber. Yes, Judgment Freeze, way to go. Thank you for that. Thank you so much.
It's really cool how the third topic is always the best. Yeah, I agree to it. But I think it's cool how Jacques, he said he didn't know these. He had to Google them, you know. But at the end, they're like chums. These topics are life changing. Sure are.
They are.
I think so too. The intros really get everyone jazzed up and roaring to go.
They do, Karen. They get them jazzed up, and you see that every time. Ed Hauser. That's what I love about this family. Thank you, and you are a family, Ed. We appreciate you.
Since day one, Ed. So thank you, buddy.
Thank you very much. Those intros are epic. Thank you, Brandon. Yes, they are. And you are too. This is where we see it. Rory Gilmore says, Avi, listen to it. Thank you. Yes, no, absolutely. This is where we see it all real, and these are what we see. Melred says they really do. Yes, agreed. I think that is when they see this is different. Yes, because they start. Avi put it amazingly, and then he showed the facial expressions last week, and then Jacques was able to give us another view of it, and now he's a fan. Now he's a fan. Isn't that amazing? Thank you, Mel.
Yeah, I think all
I
three
agree
now
with Jacques, man. There's a whole lot of talent in round two. A whole lot.
Oof.
Look at this. And also, Julie says over 140 different thought-provoking topics. 140. Have we even covered as people 15, 20? Chad Top 5 Dick 6 and says, this whole show is awesome. Thank you. And Brian says, what a real episode. Everyone has been fantastic. Thank you. You've been fantastic. Julie Hall, love the intros. Get me revved. Yeah. Jeff Reed are real people engaging in real conversations, and that's what we're here for. We're reality. Phil also says the topics are so revealing. Yes, it brings you closer to the people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But we see how it plays. Hopefully, one day, soon.
Maybe.
Soon enough.
Maybe.
Yeah. John Wright's going to be in harmonica. There you go.
Can I join him?
Hell yeah. Definitely.
Okay.
Every Saturday night is star-studded. It is, and that's
Thank you
to Mr. Klein.
That's what I tell people when they're doing guesses and stuff. I say, hey, whatever you do, don't think there's anyone that's out of the realm of possibilities. Anybody can show up here on Saturday night. Anyone.
Anybody. Yes. Bring that up here. So it's this has been, I love these nights. TKN is the night. Yes, Saturday night. Can't miss edutainment. No, you can't. It's you can,
honest.
I mean, you can lay back. You can do whatever you want, but like you have to be here. You have to enjoy this. Engage. Invite. How will we top this next week? Well, how will we top this next week? You're going to have to see, because next week is going to have another amazing lineup. Avi always creates the absolute best for us. So you're just going to have to wait and see. And on the Black Box this Wednesday to discuss that and more. I love this show. Yes, Brian. Saturday nights are where it's at.
Damn right.
Thank you.
Craig and welcome to the real deal. Kind-hearted people live here. I love
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Craig.
it.
Freaking awesome.
Wonderful to have you this evening.
Definitely.
It's like a giant party. It is, because we get to share in this moment together. We love interacting with you in the comments, and that what makes this so special. The only place to be on Saturday night. Indeed. Thank you very much for that, Phil. This is the place to be. So many good comments right here.
We can get to Howard to rewrite the Louisiana Saturday night to TKN Saturday night.
TKN Saturday night. Guys and gals, look, listen. Joe and John and Howard and Mindy, precious human beings, and that's from the heart. And the same thing regarding Julie and Giselle and Megan and Chad and Julie Hall and Ed Hauser and Kelly White and Phil. I'm always trying to remember if I left anyone out. Yeah, Pete Sharpie too. Pete Sharpie too. Pete Sharpie as well. We cannot forget about Mr. Pete Sharpie. Fred Ottman, guys. I want you all to understand that this is family. I'm thankful for this family. I'm not going to give you a long-winded speech other than you're looking at 4 second rounders here. And the great living room conversations will continue. But I think Jeff Timmons, Jacques Rougeau, and Tim Hardaway said the following in identical fashions, although the words presented were different. They're here to win. Because now that they know what this place is and what it stands for and how positive it is, and how edutainment is something that could speak to them as well as us, why would you not want to win a tournament like this? Why would you not want to win a tournament that can help the masses, where you can have a platform and a voice to express your positivity onto others? And why would you not want to go through a field with, as of tonight, 60 Hall of Famers, Oscar, Grammy, Tony, Golden Globe, and Emmy Award winners and nominees all in one place with more to come. We've got more to come. Guys, John and Joe and Howard will stay on screen. And I hope you don't go anywhere, guys, because this outro video pumps people up who are still here as much as the intro video. And there's always new features. So again, I thank you all for being who you are. We'll have more to come this Wednesday on a very historic episode of the Black Box. I'll be dressed up. Joe will be dressed up. Anyone who's there will be dressed up. Some of you can show up and be dressed up. It's going to be a historic night because we're voting 1, possibly 2. Finally, after 1 year, we're going to vote back 2 of those who've been defeated, who will enter that last resort bowl and still have to win. Who will you be voting for? Don't worry, because before we start the voting process on Wednesday, I'll have some laminated photos, some screenshots of all those who've been eliminated. We'll go through them first. You'll take your notes, and then the voting will begin. Since I don't judge, my votes will be worth 5. I'll be the last to vote. John will be voting. Howard will be voting. Joe will be voting. There is some real strong competition, and we're going to find out which 2 get a chance to go back. This Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, exclusively on Joe Rositano's page. That is Joe Rizart, R-I-Z-A-R-T. That is Joe, R-I-Z-A-R-T, on his page live, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, this Wednesday for a very historic episode of the Black Box. The date will be November 29th. So that's mark it on your calendar. And as we head into the new year, the Black Box will be live on multiple channels. I have an announcement regarding YouTube and some of our talk shows because we have that going on too. There's a lot going on. But guys, remember, inspiration sometimes comes from within, and sometimes inspiration is outwardly projected, and sometimes inspiration needs inspiration. Sometimes inspiration can come from a visual aid, music, photos, images, videos, memories, all to be encapsulated here in this video as we bid you adieu tonight.
Beat talent every time. You got all the talent in the world, but are you obsessed? Is it all you ever think about? Is it all you ever think about?
If you put your effort and concentration into playing to your potential, to be the best that you can be.
Is it all you ever think about?
I don't care what the scoreboard says at the end of the game. In my book, we're going to be winners.
Let's face it, it's you against you out there.
Let's go! Let me hear it!
When you walk on that court, you have to think I am the best guy out there. I don't care if LeBron's playing.
I'm the only candidate that spent his entire career literally working in the private sector. Even while I was mayor, I was required to hold a full-time job in the private sector. My two opponents, they've been cashing government checks for well over 20 years.
Okay, speaking
Terminator is out there. Can't be bargained with.
We got chaos throughout the world, and nobody's giving anybody any respect.
It can't be reasoned with.
Across the entire planet. We need the return of Gort.
It doesn't feel pity
Now you're going to bring your garbage and war
or remorse
out into space. Well, we're not going to let that happen.
or fear, and it absolutely will not stop.
Well, of course I am. I don't do nothing to lose.
Plant fear, and fear will grow. Because if you have a man looking at you, and he has a little fear in his heart, where does that put him? But in the palm of your hand. Because already you have created doubt in his own mind that he has the strength to continue against someone like myself.
And you don't know if there's going to be a tomorrow.
Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
It's just that cruel moment of when you realize
It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us.
there is no hope. That tears at me, but it doesn't tear at me anymore.
We were all meant to shine as children do.
Because there was hope. I don't play, I just win.
I think that when you have kids that are in fragile situations as it is,
There's another human being, species, which I happen to belong to.
if there is some type of mentorship program that is safe and sound and productive for them.
Lift himself. The rest of us sat as human beings up to a better place to be, if only for a minute.
I do think that it's absolutely essential to try and.
Let me tell you, kid, it was pretty goddamn glorious. It ain't the 6 minutes. It's what happens in that 6 minutes.
To round number 2.
Deflected ball picked up by Ray Berry alone to the basket. A tremendous move away from the ball when Berry's man jumped off. Well, that was the Warriors up by. It goes to Berry, who again swings under his.
They fixed 86 games between 1947 and 1950.
When you take that field today, you've got to lay that heart on the line, man.
600 million people, they say, watched the landing on the moon.
If you do that,
and the first steps.
we cannot lose.
Same thing, you don't play for individual awards, you play for team championships, you play about winning.
But he stays in the block. McNeil takes it in. Touchdown.
This guy named Jack Ruby comes out of nowhere and shoots him. And then it was just total chaos.
We may be behind on the scoreboard at the end of the game, but if you play like that, we cannot be defeated.
You know, people grabbed Ruby, they got the gun, they hustled him out of the room.
How you play today, from this moment on, is how you will be remembered.
And Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in 1947.
Nothing is over! Nothing!
Drexler outside, Maloney, Johnson at the buzzer! Eddie Johnson hits at the buzzer to give the Rockets a 95-92 win.
how well you can talk your way to a job, too. You just don't turn it off.
And when you rhyme, ooh, there's lots of bull. When it comes time to step to a mic, I don't sit around. Play, you know I don't kid around. So come with it, boy. Don't even hide your best. Cause kids spell backwards describes your best. Look around, watch the people clap hands.
Maybe even those people that you lost.
Really don't matter if this guy opens my head again.
If you hear them in your head, they would say the same thing.
All I want to do is go to distance.
They would sacrifice for you.
Do it now or I will kill you. You believe it? 1. This is God's house. Don't make me do this. Please. Don't. 3.
Has all the advantages and none of the advantages of kryptonite.
The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther.
To round number 2. Here, you win here to win the whole thing.
There is no tomorrow.
So definitely.
There is no tomorrow.
To round number 2.
The money?
Conquer your fear.
Absolutely. I'm going for it all the way.
And I promise you, you'll conquer death.
To round number 2.
Oh yeah, for sure, yo. We don't go out with no losing mentality.
And that, my friends, is called integrity.
We champions at all, yo.
That's called courage.
We put this work in.
Now that's the stuff leaders should be made of.
When you're in gratitude for your life and for your blessings. I believe love is the greatest power we have to create with. If you want something, love it more.
The only 2 people I want to beat right now is Rick Barry and Eddie Johnson. Now, baby, I'm coming for you. Now, baby, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you.
285-pound mark.
I'm going to take it like I won the first ever Royal Rumble.
Oh, yeah! That's right! He pulled the top rope down.
Stay out of my way. Have board, will travel. Ho! Ho!
We listen to a podcast, gentlemen. We are seeking one of 2 things. We're seeking information.
You will not give, I'll take.
Or wanting to be entertained.
And he is my enemy.
Things inside you mature and tears come to your eyes.
Oh, God, no, please.
There's a religious aspect to it.
I believe that it's one of the reasons is because it's an all-volunteer army. They may not choose to be in Iraq and Afghanistan, but they chose to be in the army.
That time up here, though, goes to the eyes of Buff Bagwell. With a
territorial and global expansion. That was the real reason. And in addition to that, there was also a lot of assets that we got out of Vietnam that only now in the last 30 years is being discovered. Is truly what you say he is. He'll become that. He will become that. Do you get that?
Yes, Avi, I do get it, okay?
I was going to ask Howard what happens when the lines are smudged, erased. Do they turn into squiggles? Do they turn into ripples? Do they turn into loops?
If I go back and you rewrite me, I can do better.
I don't feel that my voice is being heard.
The guy who's willing to die, who's gonna win that issue. And I know if I'm now I can't make you do it. You gotta look at the guy next to you. Look into his eyes. Now I think you're gonna see a guy who will go that issue.
know what? Maybe one of the world's problems will get solved by listening to this show.